Dreambound. Category changed. And open game. Arsham was really, really cute. In that, well, I call them episodes, but just no, I'm gonna call it episode. Can't close my lid. Broken. Okay. Is open now. Now I need to change the captcha. Wait for it to pick it up. It should be good in size, I would think. There we go. Okay, let me double check the size. Yep, it's good to go. Alrighty. This one. No, this one. We're not in September anymore. Oh shit, I also need my guide up. Hold on. Hold on the phone. Dreambound. There's only like one more choice I have to make before I should finish Kaine's good end route. But we're good. Last time it was sweet as fuck. And then we fucking dropped into a dream and killed the mood. Not here. Not in this abyss between dreams. Noah fell, and he fell, and he fell, sinking into the darkness. It's all right. I've got you. You don't need to be afraid. Until a familiar-sounding voice called out to him from his featureless surroundings. Is it Crow? Noah felt fingers twining between his, felt his palms pressing flush against those of another's. He blinked, and when he did, a familiar face appeared in front of him. It was Crow. Crow. The soles of Noah's shoes hit the ground with a soft thud. He had found himself once again in that strange void where he had wound up after his last dream had collapsed in on itself. Oh. It's very dark, spooky, foggy landscape. It was blindingly white, so bright his eyes hurt. It was the place where Crow resided, the half-formed world which existed, though barely, in the rifts between dreams. Noah hadn't come here on his own volition this time. Crow had rescued him, plucking him from the abyss like a fruit from a tree. Was this too Crow's doing? But why? Did you bring me here? Do you have something to talk about? Was it that obvious? He smiled, calmly, as he always did. It was Noah's heart, or it made Noah's heart do flips. No, Noah. We're falling in love with Kaine, remember? Don't forget that. A lucky guess, I suppose. And I can't think of any other reason why I'd wind up here. A smiling Crow stepped back, drawing his fingers free from Noah's. You're right. There is something I wanted to talk to you about, and that's why I called you here. If it wasn't for me, you'd be happily sleeping and dreaming. I apologize for the interruption. It's alright. If it's you, I don't mind being yanked around in my sleep, I guess. I really am sorry for that. But before that, how are you, Noah? You seem somehow more tired and more well-rested than usual. I guess the country air is helping. I'm okay. I'm visiting home for a while. Home? Back on that mountainside? How do you know about that? Because he's obviously a part of August. Somehow. That's right. It's a little exhausting, but it's nice to be out of my apartment for a bit. The smile returned to Crow's face. Noah, you were doing so well. I'm really proud of you. Perhaps that's meaningless coming from me, but it's true nonetheless. How could it be meaningless coming from you? I'm trying. It's hard. Giving up is so much easier than trying to keep going. I want to run back home and lock myself away, but there's things I need to do. People who need me. All the people who died. Those who will be targeted in the future. Kaine. You. I'm happy to hear that, Noah, but you needn't consider me a burden. I'm here to help you no matter what. I will always be here. Noah looked up into Crow's eyes, trying to peer at whoever was behind the mask. He wondered if it could truly be August. He hoped, but now wasn't the time for that. So, right. I brought you here because there was something I wanted to discuss. I suppose you can consider this an emergency meeting of sorts. Anxiety began to fester inside Noah's head, but he did his best to ignore it. Did something happen? That is, well, it's hard to explain. I'm finding it difficult to put into words. It's that bad? Noah sighed. I should have figured. It feels like nothing is simple anymore. Noah's words were directed at himself, but still Crow's calm voice responded. Sometimes I wonder if this world of yours is the more confusing one. Dreams may be filled with chaos, but it's usually the people who create them that are the most confusing. I digress. Rather than telling you about what I brought you here for, I think it would be best if I showed you. That would save us a lot of time. And if we're lucky, it might end up saving somebody's life. Noah just nodded, ready to follow Crow anywhere. You know, you're starting to make me worry. Not deliberately. I really do want to help you. I promised I would. Crow sighed, looking down towards the ground. Are you ready to go? Sure, I'm ready. Ah! Wait, there's something I want to ask you first. Yes? Is it possible that the killer appears multiple times to whoever they plan to kill? I heard from a few people now that the targets had nightmares of a person draped in shadow. Crow blinked, surprised, then smiled. You and I truly are on the same page, Noah. That is also the basis I've been going off of, and a reason I brought you here. Why would the victims be visited multiple times, though? Well, I have an hypothesis about that. Nightmares make you awaken, don't they? When the victims are visited by the killer, they are frightened and their bodies wake them up. I imagine the killer is quite frustrated at that. So, we could use it to work out who's going to be killed if we work out who is having nightmares? That's a bit vague, though. A lot of people have nightmares. Crow nodded. In theory, I imagine in practice, it's a little hard for a regular person to find every person who has a nightmare. Yeah. Right. But I am not a regular person. I believe I found someone having those same nightmares. Quickly, we should be able to reach them. Or reach him. Crow once again took Noah's hand. Their fingers entwined together, almost as though they were lovers. For an action carried out within a dream, or a rift within a dream, Crow's hand was awfully soft. Noah was reminded once again of August and how bashful they had been when they had first held another's hand. But Noah wasn't afforded the chance to reminisce for long. Once again, the world had begun to shift around him. Oh, it's the river. The bright white backdrop started to ripple just like water, then it melted away to reveal a scene so familiar Noah gasped. He might have been in a dream, but there was nothing fantastical about the landscape he now found himself in. It was late at night, just as it had been when he had retreated to his bedroom, and the sky was scattered with stars. The moon was full, its light pale and wan, almost eerie. Again with the moon. The moon is making a lot of appearances today in the stream. You know, besides me. The moon's rays played across the leaves of numerous trees, which surrounded Noah like sentinels. And it played, too, across the surface of the water. Noah was standing by the riverside, the very same river which he had often retreated to as a young boy to paint. It was in that river that Asher had thrown his sketchbooks all those years ago. August had chanced upon him then, and he had waded into the water with him to fish the water-damaged books and all the scattered pages out. August was not with Noah now, however. He had to content himself instead with Crow, a man who looked strikingly similar to August, one who was so mysterious Noah couldn't be sure who he really was. Why did you bring me here? Huh? Noah frowned. He had meant to pose this question to Crow, but was surprised to hear it from someone else's mouth instead. What's going on? Noah tore his gaze away from Crow and glanced back to the riverbank. There were two figures on the opposite side of the bank, both of them shrouded in shadows. Noah didn't initially recognize either of them, not until the clouds parted and a shaft of moonlight split down onto the ground. Or spilt down onto the ground. The moonlight cast the features of those two figures into relief, and when it did, Noah gasped. He knew these people after all. He knew one of them very well, in fact. One of the figures was unmistakably Asher, while the other was Reuben. What are they doing out here? I guess this is a dream, but whose dream is it? Is it Asher's or Reuben's? Crow. Noah addressed Crow in a quiet voice, though he didn't tear his eyes away from the opposite side of the bank. He couldn't bring himself to look away. What is this? This is not something I wanted you to see, necessarily. It doesn't feel too appropriate to glance at the inner workings of another's mind like this, but, well, I'm sure if we stay here, the person we're really waiting for will show up. Then we're camping out inside this dream until then? I suppose so. I've seen this dream many times. It has gone so many different ways, yet it never has a positive outcome. Asher thinks about this moment a lot. Then, is this Asher's dream? I really have been seeing a lot of these recently. Crow nodded. I can travel between people's dreams whenever I desire. Some people's dreams are more intense than others, so I get drawn to them, a little like a moth to a flame. Though most of the time I simply wait rather than visit dreams. Still, if I think it will be of help to you, then I will do it. This dream is one I've witnessed 3 times already. Don't play dumb with me. You know why I asked you to come here. Asher's voice cut through Crow's response. It wavered with emotions, his fingers twitching at his sides. We need to talk. You've been avoiding me for a whole week, and I just want to know. What did I do? Asher. Reuben surveyed Asher, his expression, as per usual, inscrutable. I'm gonna put on some chapstick, because my lips are dry as fuck. Oh, man. If you have to ask me that, then it shows you haven't reflected on your behavior in the slightest. I would have thought it would be obvious what you did. Oh, fuck me. This isn't about the Noah thing. Again, is it? What if it is? What would you say? I'd say, what the fuck? Why do you care so much? It's not like I say any of that shit to you. I actually like you. I'm not going to turn against you if that's what you're worried about, so that isn't what I'm worried about. We've always been good friends. I know you treat me well. Friends, huh? Is that all I am to you? Are my thoughts about to be confirmed that these two were more than friends? Or at least Asher thought so? Because I've had that feeling pretty much since the fucking beginning. Reuben just shrugged nonchalantly. He always had that look on his face, a calm passiveness. It's what you would have everyone else believe. You know what my parents are like. If they found out, they'd disown me. I can't afford to be disowned now. The shit they've said to Noah about that August kid, the one he's sweet on, it really puts their opinions into perspective. I know. Noah shuffled awkwardly in place. This really didn't feel like a conversation he wanted to be privy of, and yet he couldn't look away. That's why I never pushed the issue. I didn't want to make things difficult for you. I would have been happy just quietly spending time together, just the two of us. I didn't mind keeping our relationship a secret. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew it. But I don't like that you've been keeping secrets from me. I would never. I tell you everything. I'm literally an open book. Books make more sense than you, Asher. You're honest about your home life, maybe, and your schoolwork, and how overwhelmed you feel. But you never told me how you've been treating, or mistreating rather, your brother. I knew you had a strained relationship, but I didn't realize it was strained because of you. Oh, please, why'd you care so much about how I treat Noah? He's a spoiled brat. He is handed everything on a silver platter, and he doesn't give a shit. He knows that our parents only give a shit about him. And he's my brother. All brothers argue. It's normal. My brother and I don't argue. Is that what this is? Are you comparing Noah and I to you and Emmett? Ruben looked down towards the river, disappointment in his eyes. My mother abandoned us. My father drank and gambled away everything. I wouldn't be alive if not for Emmett. I know. I know that your brother is important to you, but there's no but, Asher. I thought you understood that family is so important to me. My mother and father were never my family, really. I mean, the family who stuck around, who cheered you on. I thought you were that for Noah, too. At least, I thought you were on civil terms. I didn't know you harassed him like you do. I was just letting off some steam, really. You should know that I don't really mean it. Should I? I don't know anymore, Asher. I feel like I don't know the real you at all. I'm always the real me around you. What if that's just another act of yours? Like a character in a book. Maybe none of your reactions are your own, just the person you think I want you to be. It's not that deep. I just didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, he's my brother. I can't say what I like to him, and anyway, he's rude to me in response. Or I can say what I like to him, and anyway, he's rude to me in response. He doesn't respect me. Why should he, if you've been treating him that awfully? Respect isn't something a person is owed, it's something a person needs to work for. You've not proven yourself worthy of it. Oh, come on. You've not seriously been ghosting me because of the way I treat Noah, have you? If it bothers you that much, I'll apologize, but save your breath. Ruben glanced away from Asher, his eyes narrowed. You're apologizing to the wrong person. Noah is the one you really upset, not me. But you don't care about that, do you? You don't care about who you hurt, so long as you get what you want. That's not true. I care about you, Ruben. And I care about you too. I spent years working and working and working so my older brother could go to university and have a future. It's your older brother. Oh, wow. So he didn't have to give up his dreams just to raise me. He tried to be what I missed from my parents. He was the one who stuck around. He's my family. If I didn't have him, if he treated me like you treat Noah, I don't think I can trust you anymore, Asher. What? Ruben, wait. I can change. I will, I swear. I'm sick of excuses and false promises. Are you sick of me? Ruben closed his eyes. Deeply, he inhaled. Then, he said, his voice soft. For the moment, yes. I don't think I can be with you anymore, not while you don't show a hint of remorse. I'm sorry. What? Ruben, wait. Don't go. We can still talk this through. We can... Ruben, please. Ruben. Asher called after Ruben's retreating back, but his voice was weak and it wavered. There was no real conviction in it, perhaps because he knew, no matter what he said, Ruben would not come back. I feel for Asher, god damn it. I still want to just punch him in the face at least once. Because it really has been acting like a total shit. But it's because his parents fucking created this environment of hostility between him and Noah. Oh god, they're the worst parents in the fucking world. Noah did not know Ruben very well, but from little he had gleaned, Asher's friend had a strong sense of family. Ruben, oh fuck. Fuck! Asher's face twisted. Tears began to bead in the corners of his eyes. hot, wet tears which took Noah by surprise. Then he crumpled. Asher fell, his knees hitting the grassy riverbank. His torso bent forward, trembling, and he pressed his head in his hands. Noah couldn't see Asher's face, but he could hear his sobs. They were so desperate, Noah felt his heart clenching in sympathy for his older brother. It was a curious sensation, feeling sorry for Asher. Noah had never felt the need. Asher had always been the golden child of the family, the one Noah had always been compared to, or was always being compared to. Asher received perfect grades in everything he did, and he was popular with his classmates. He was cordial, charismatic, and effortlessly cheerful. Noah's mother was always sighing and tutting and asking why Noah couldn't be more like his older brother. Asher, unlike Noah, didn't have any delusions about being an artist. Asher kept his nose to the grindstone and focused instead on subjects which would net him a respectable career in the future, math and the sciences. Asher didn't hang around with people like August either, who might lure him into wicked temptations. Asher's best friend was Reuben, a quiet, studious boy who Noah's parents regarded as a good influence. Asher cared about the right interests, and he talked to all of the right people. Noah had never been able to measure up to him. Asher was perfect. Oh God. And now Noah's perfect older brother was sobbing on the riverbank, reduced to a shadow of his former self after a few stern words from Reuben. Noah had always known Asher was close to Reuben, but he hadn't known their relationship was like that at all. I fucking knew it. The moment these two had any sort of response to each other in Asher's first dream that we entered, I fucking knew it. He never would have guessed. He didn't even think Asher was capable of caring about someone to such an extent. I always thought that the only person Asher cared about was Asher. But I guess I was being unfair. He must have cared a lot about Reuben too. I didn't realize they were so close. But I guess there's a lot about Asher I didn't know. It's not like I ever really spoke to him. Noah certainly hadn't known that Asher was capable of crying like this. He hadn't known that he was capable of crying full stop. Asher had always seemed too good for tears. Why would he have bothered with them when he was so intelligent, so self-assured, so adored? Noah was beginning to see, however, that Asher's persona had been carefully cultivated. Perhaps deep down he wasn't as together as he wanted to appear. If he was, Reuben's departure would never have hurt him like this. Reuben. Fuck Reuben. Asher mumbled pitifully to himself, his voice muffled by his hands and by his tears. How could you leave me? Fuck. Asher sounded so distraught. Noah was struck with a sudden desire to console him. It's funny, I always thought that I hated him, but seeing him this vulnerable, I guess he's more than just my self-absorbed big brother. He's a person too, with problems of his own. I just never realized he had any because he always hid them. He was so busy trying to act perfect, I think I forgot he was a real person. How can I tell him that though? Should I even bother? No one knew, as he watched Asher cry, that this was nothing more than a dream. Even if he did successfully manage to assuage Asher's worries, Asher wouldn't remember it when he woke up. Reaching out to him now, while he slept, would be a waste of time. It would be better not to expend his energy worrying about this version of his brother. But Noah worried all the same. And after I talked so big to Kaine last night, too, about hating him. Even I can't make up my mind, huh? Swallowing down his conflicted feelings, Noah slowly made his way over to Asher, searching all the while for the words which might offer him some amount of comfort. But he was interrupted before he could reach his brother. A voice, almost familiar, called out to Asher. Oh boy, you can cry as much as you like, but it's already too late. I'm not going to show you any pity. You brought this all on yourself, didn't you? It's only natural that you pay for your sins. Huh? Noah stopped short, his eyes wide. He had thought that the riverbank was deserted after Reuben's absence. He, Crow, and Asher have been the only people there, and Asher was so caught up in his own misery he had yet to remove his hands from his face. He was still crying. Noah hadn't heard anybody approach them. There had been no telltale sounds of footsteps, no rustling of the grass underfoot. It was an undeniable truth, however, that a fourth party had joined them. There was somebody there, standing just behind Asher, somebody who should not have been there. Noah didn't know where they had come from. It was almost as though they had materialized out of thin air, and maybe they had. It's definitely someone who could travel between dreams like I can, isn't it? Who else do I know who has that power, though? There's Yvonne, but this... It isn't Yvonne. That isn't like Yvonne at all. The figure standing behind Asher was almost incorporeal. It was like his entire being was made of shadow. But there was definitely a person under there. A person with broad shoulders and a low voice. Noah remained frozen, rooted to the spot, as the mysterious man reached into his pocket. Then, from within it, he drew something cold and hard, something sinister, which Noah had only ever seen from within a dream. He was holding a gun. Wait, he can't... Noah watched on, his breath bated as the mysterious man shifted. Then, without further preamble, he faced the barrel of the gun to Asher's head. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god, I don't want Asher to die. Oh god. I'm still so scared that that's gonna be fucking Kaine, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. Asher seemed to not have realized what was happening. He was still crying, his head in his hands. He could not feel, or could he not feel that murderous energy? Or was he too consumed by his own grief to care? Noah didn't know. I think you've hurt enough people to last a lifetime. Reuben was just the tip of the iceberg. He, at least, was able to rid himself of you, but others... They weren't so lucky. I didn't want to resort to this, but some people just don't change. You've always been an asshole. It pains me to say this, since you're Noah's brother. But you're nothing like him. Oh god, I'm looking at you and... Oh god. Oh god. I can't tell if you have... Kaine's complexion. Oh boy, oh boy. Hello raiders and welcome on in. We got drama happening. There's gun pointing and possible dream murder. I don't know, but thank you for the raid. NichibotsuNetro. Oh god, oh god. Oh, we're gonna sit here and groove for a little bit. Oh lord, oh lordy. I hope you all are having a good night, morning, afternoon, whatever your time zone is. It's night where I'm currently at. If you have to do any after stream care, by all means do so. If you want to stick around, appreciate it. If you want to go get some sleep or whatever, by all means do so. If you don't know me, I'm Don't Give Me Dust. I play a lot of visual novels, like so. RPGs and horror games. It's visual novel day for me, and oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, bye.
Kalmar.
Ironically, your last clip, when you raided last time, was like same game, and like you guys were doing the same mini game too. Oh,
what did I just
raid.
ask you?
I hope you've been having a good stream in time zone.
Like literally,
I have.
words literally just.
Oh wait, I think it was the same clip actually. About the not jumping on my head. Let me read your shout out here. The old ones are watching. From the depths of the digital realm, a unicorn VTuber emerges, shrouded in 420 friendly mists. Nice. NichibotsuNetro, a harbinger of retro gaming and RPGs, beckons with tales of Zestiria and whispers of Nike. I think that's how you say that. Their stream, a safe haven for profane adventures, dances between the realms of visual novels and JRPGs. The cosmos align in their favor. Nice, nice. I was doing TOZ. Nice, nice. Oh boy, I don't want to keep clicking. Oh god. Oh god, I'm so scared that this murderer is actually Kaine. Ah. Ah. Yeah, I love the Frosty Tool shoutouts. I kind of, you can make them do like a certain like flavor, like old western or like noir detective or medieval knight sort of thing. So it kind of sounds like those sort of people are talking. I did a custom one where I told it kind of like mysterious being as if they were the ones writing this. So that's what I got. Oh Lord, okay. God, that kind of looks like it's probably Kaine's hair, but I'm not sure. It looks like Kaine's build, and again, I don't know if that's his complexion or not. That I'm seeing right there, because we got some discoloration too, because of the shadow and the rain. Ah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm still gonna fuck him even if he's a murderer, but still. Oh God, okay. Here we go. What? No. It was only now, as the mysterious man adjusted his grip on the gun, that the ability of speech returned to Noah. He gasped, his fingers curling into fists, then cried, "That's enough! Don't hurt him!" The shadowy figure raised his head, alerted by the sound of Noah's cry. A cold wind blew, disturbing the shadow that seemed to conceal the figure. Oh God, here we go. It shifted and dissipated to better reveal who he really was. Oh, brown hair. Oh no, it was Kaine. Isn't it? Isn't it? Was illuminated by the moon's light. A firm jaw. Blue eyes. Does Kaine have blue eyes? Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold on. Hold on. Before I go any further, I need to know. I feel like he has blue eyes. But I'm so distressed right now, I can't honestly remember. Oh God, Kaine does have blue eyes. Oh no, it really is Kaine. Oh God. It was a face Noah knew well, better perhaps than his own reflection in the mirror, because Noah had sworn off looking at his reflection after August's death. He hadn't wanted to be reminded of just how haggard he had become. This man, however, had always looked after himself. His feature, I mean, of course it was fucking Kaine, because he somehow got the ability to fall into dreams. We already know this. Oh my God, and who else would know all the people that fucked over Noah in his lifetime and could kill them? Of course it was fucking Kaine. Oh God. His features were undeniably handsome, even when obscured with undulating shadows. It was Kaine. Oh, God. Kaine? You... Noah took an uneasy step back. He could hardly believe what he was seeing, that Kaine was standing there holding a gun to Asher's temple. It didn't seem real. It felt like a dream. It is a dream, but it's still real. Oh, what the hell are you doing? Noah. Kaine's voice cracked. He looked shocked and horrified. Oh my God. I'm shocked and horrified that I was right. Oh, Jesus. He was shaking, though Noah hoped he didn't shake to such an extent he accidentally unloaded a bullet into Asher's head. I know I said I hated him, but that didn't mean I wanted him to die. I never asked for this. You weren't supposed to see this. Why did you come here? You should be sleeping. He was sleeping soundly. I'm the one who chose to intervene. If you want to be mad at anybody, you should be mad at me. You... Kaine glared at Crow. It had been quite some time since last the two men had seen one another, but Kaine's mistrust for Crow had yet to abate. He looked even more hateful than before. So it was you. Of course it was, the one pretending to be August, holding Noah in the past. Whether I hold him in the past or not is of little matter for the moment. I've been looking out for Noah. That is more than you can claim. That's not true at all. What, you think you're some guardian angel? Crow smiled bashfully. It sounds a little cheesy, but yes. Why? Why, Kaine? How can you stand there by his side, Noah? How can you stand to look at his face? How can you say that when you have a gun pressed to my only brother's head? If my face upsets you, then I apologize, but I will not apologize for standing by Noah's side. I didn't think a kind man like you could commit so many terrible deeds. Stop it. Like you, I want Noah to be happy. Stop it! Kaine inhaled sharply. He continued to press the cold, hard barrel of the gun to Asher's temple, but some of his earlier convictions seemed to have vanished. He shook, just like a frightened schoolboy. But the vitriol in his voice when he addressed Crow was unmistakable. Don't stand there pretending that you know how I feel. You wouldn't ever understand what I've gone through, what I've done. Don't pretend we're the same. Don't pretend we want the same thing while you wear that face. I'm trying to look after Noah. Whether you want to believe it or not, we have the same goal, just... Crow looked at the gun held to Asher's temple. Gone about it in very different ways. He exhaled. That is why you're doing this, isn't it, Kaine? It's because you're trying to protect Noah? Why do you care? I'm asking because I'd like to try and understand you. I don't think it's a coincidence that all the people who died were people who wronged him in the past. You were targeting them deliberately in the hopes that it would help free Noah from his shackles. Noah opened his mouth to speak, then closed it again. Words were failing him, completely and utterly. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy, everything is not Daijobu. Everything is not Genshana. We are going... I'm going to die. I'm going to die from this. Oh dear lord. How do we come back from this? How do we come back? He swallowed, but his throat felt dry. It could very well have been a desert. Kaine, you... What the fuck are you doing? The words Noah eventually summoned weren't the most eloquent, but they would do. Noah, listen, I didn't expect to see you here, but I can explain. If you'll just listen, then What is there for me to listen to? Noah rounded on Kaine, his eyes flashing with fury. How can you explain? I almost wish Crow hadn't shown me this. I don't want to see him like this. I don't want to think Kaine as a killer. Or think of Kaine as a killer. But he is. That's the truth. All this time, Kaine has been helping me find the killer. And to what end? He must have known we'd never find any leads. Not when he was the killer all along. You've been lying to me, Kaine. For the last week, you let me believe that we were going to catch the murderer together. That you wanted to stop them. But that wasn't the truth, was it? You're the one I've been looking for this whole time. You killed my parents. And fuck, you were going to kill Asher. How could you? How could you do this to me? Kaine did not, in answer to Noah's cries, say anything. Perhaps he knew there was nothing he could say. He stared at Noah, his fingers still curled about the pistol as storm clouds swirled overhead. The sky rumbled ominously. Then raindrops began to fall from the sky. The rain was faint at first and scattered, but soon picked up. The rain drummed against the water in the river, so it rippled. It struck the ground over and over, as merciless as any artillery. The rain landed on Noah's scalp. It slid down the nape of his neck. It was bitingly cold, and he shuddered. Kaine. Noah inhaled, his fingers curling into fists. A few weeks ago, when we found ourselves in Mr. Floyd's dream. You said you didn't know anything about the dream world. You looked so surprised, and I felt sorry for you. But that was in Act 2, wasn't it? Even before that, you killed my parents. You knew about these dream worlds long before we did that together. Once again, Kaine remained mute. Well, so much for him being able to explain himself. I'm right. Noah asserted this on Kaine's behalf, in the face of his silence. For weeks, you've been lying to me, leading me on this This fucking farce. Acting like you wanted to help me find the killer. Acting like you cared. All this time. All of it. It's been a lie. No. Noah, that's not it. I might have lied when we went into Mr. Floyd's dream, and I lied about not knowing who the killer was. Obviously. You don't even need to spell it out. I'm not stupid. But I never lied when I said I cared about you. I meant that, every word. You're the most important person in the world to me. You're my best friend. The only person I've ever been able to rely on. That's why I did what I did. I was just trying to protect you. So, you thought you'd slaughter my whole family behind my back? It's not like that, Noah. I didn't enjoy doing it. I'm not that kind of person. I just didn't know what else to do. How did I ever trust you? We're friends, Noah. That's not a lie, I swear. How am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know where your lies end? You just have to trust me. I don't trust you. There's no talking around the fact that you killed my parents. You killed Luca. You're here right now with the gun to Asher's head. Noah. Kaine stared at Noah, his expression stricken. His face looked pasty, almost as pasty as Asher's, and his right hand, which held the gun, was trembling. Icy droplets of rain continued to fall from the sky, droplets which struck Kaine's scalp, his cheeks, his shoulders. Time seemed to slow down. It expanded. Noah wondered, terrified, whether Kaine would pull the trigger after all, and end Asher's life for good. But then, Kaine let his arm drop, or right arm drop. All the strikes seemed to vacate his body, and his grip on the gun slackened. The weapon fell to the floor, hitting the grassy ground harmlessly, with a soft thud. And then Kaine turned. Noah couldn't see Kaine's face when he next addressed him, but he could hear the hurt in Kaine's voice. It was so intense, his vocal cords seemed to throb from it. I'm sorry, Noah. I didn't want you to see me like this. And I didn't mean to hurt you. I thought this was what you wanted, but... Kaine paused. He swallowed. I guess I didn't understand you after all. Some best friend I am, huh? Weakly, Kaine laughed, though it was without any humor. His laughter was even colder than the rain, which fell from the sky, drumming against the riverbank. It was such a joyless sound, it twisted Noah's insides. He wanted to approach Kaine, to ask him why he did what he did, but he couldn't. His feet were rooted to the ground. All he could do was stand there, shaking, as Kaine walked away. He thought Kaine might have muttered something before his departure. Forgive me, maybe. But the rain was coming down so hard, Noah could hardly hear him. Kaine's broad back, which had always looked so dependable, retreated. Then he disappeared. One moment, Kaine was there, and the next, he was not. It was almost as if he had never been there at all. Kaine's discarded gun remained, however, on the riverbank. Its sleek black exterior glossy from falling rain. It served as a reminder that this really was real. Even if the scene laid out before Noah, the crumpled Asher, the discarded pistol, was all a dream. Noah? Noah heard Crow's voice from his right, or at least he thought he did. It was raining so intently, and Noah's thoughts were racing so much, he was no longer sure. Noah, are you alright? Hey. Crow reached out, perhaps to to rest a steadying hand on Noah's shoulder, but... Noah? Before Crow could reach him, the last vestiges of his strength left him. Noah's body crumpled, as though he were a puppet, one whose strings had been cut. He slumped forwards, his knees hitting the muddy riverbank. Noah? Noah? Noah's torso crumpled. His eyelids fell shut. Then, there was nothing. Oh God, what are we gonna do when we wake up? Noah! Nothing, except the sound of Crow's frantic cries, and the low, constant hum of the falling rain. oh God, oh God. Oh boy, what are we gonna do, man? Oh Scoob, what are we gonna do? Oh no. We fell asleep in Kaine's arms. What? No way Kaine is still there when we wake up. No fucking way. Oh God. Noah gasped as he awoke, with a sudden thump of his back meeting the mattress, which made him start. His eyes snapped open, and feeling more than a little dazed, he glanced about his room. His room, however, was not as he remembered it. He was not in his apartment with the trashed canvases and the dried out paint pallets scattered across the room, or the floor, and neither was he in Kaine's pristine home. It seemed instead as though he had gone back to his childhood. The bookshelves and the wardrobe and the desk were all intimately familiar, but they were relics of a different time, a bygone era. They were all shadows from his past. For a few moments, Noah wondered whether the intensity of that dream had muddled his mind when... Oh no, I am in my parents' place. I came back here with Kaine so I could talk to Asher. How could I have forgotten? Noah's head throbbed. He sat up, wincing, the covers shifting about him, and pressed a shaking hand to his temple. Kaine. Noah could remember everything he had seen in his dream in vivid detail. Kaine had been there, and so had Asher. It had been raining, Asher's long hair clinging to his pale skin, rivulets of water coursing down his cheeks as Kaine... Another fork of pain pierced Noah's head. He didn't want to think about it. He didn't want to believe it, but... Kaine, he really did mean to kill Asher. He killed my parents. Kaine's killings might have taken place in dreams separated from the real world, but what was real and what was not had begun to blur in Noah's mind. He could no longer see where his dreams ended and reality began. Kaine might have killed them in their dreams, but they still died in real life. Doesn't that make him a murderer? I mean, I've said it from the get-go, the moment I suspected. I'll still like him. I guess it could have been an accident at first, with my mother, but he kept on doing it. There's no way Sebastian's death was an accident, or Luca's. He knew what he was doing. He's a cold-blooded killer. But why did he do it? Remember who he killed, and how those people were in relation to you. It's very, very obvious why. Come on, Noah. Use that brain cell that keeps, like, stabbing you in the skull. Noah turned this question over in his head for several minutes, all while sitting up in his bed, his body motionless. He stared at the wall with sightless eyes, his fingers scrunched up on his lap. Before, with a long sigh, he rose, staring back at the spot next to him in bed. The spot Kaine had been in last night. The spot they'd been pressed together in. I need to talk to Kaine. This, however, was easier said than done. Oh boy, oh boy. Noah changed, then shuffled downstairs. He looked for Kaine in the living room, where he'd been sleeping, and the kitchen, where he might conceivably have been preparing breakfast, but... He's not here, huh? Well, that tracks. Of course he isn't. I don't imagine he'd want to hang around after I caught him holding a gun to my brother's head. Still, that really proves it, huh? What happened last night? It wasn't a dream. Or rather, it was a dream, but it's a dream that really happened. Kaine was seriously going to kill my brother. How can I make any excuses for him now? Noah did another scan of the house, wondering whether he might happen upon Kaine, but he didn't truly believe in it. He already knew deep down that Kaine was gone. Did he run away? And after he told me to confront the past, too. What a hypocrite. Noah did notice something curious, however, in his church. Kaine's car was still parked outside in the driveway. I mean, if Kaine, like, drove off, Noah wouldn't have any way to get back, and I don't think Kaine would just abandon him, so... He had gone, but he couldn't have gone too far. I wonder what the odds are that he just headed out early to pick up some groceries? Yeah, probably not. Noah collapsed onto the couch, sighing, then retrieved his phone from his pocket. He scanned it, half hoping there might be something from Kaine. Not even a message. It's not like him at all. But do I even really know what is and isn't like him? Noah sent a couple of texts to Kaine, but he didn't expect a response. He wasn't too disappointed, therefore, when his texts remained unreplied. Hell, Kaine hadn't even seen them. Did he take his phone with him, wherever he is? I have no idea. Noah tried to call Kaine after the text failed, but it went straight to his voicemail. Hey, it's Kaine. I'm sorry I can't be here to answer the phone. If it's something urgent, I'll try and get back to you as soon as... Fuck. Noah cursed as he hung up, his brow wrinkled with anxiety. This was an urgent matter of the most supreme degree, but it seemed unlikely Kaine would want to talk about it over the phone. Would Kaine want to talk to him at all after everything that had happened? Noah wasn't banking on it. Well, now what? Noah cast his phone onto the table and leant back in his chair. He thought about Kaine and about their confrontation last night. Then he thought about Asher. He remembered his brother's face and how stricken he had looked, how white his eyes. Noah had never seen Asher looking so vulnerable, not even in his dream, when Noah had confronted him with the newly gleaned knowledge that he had failed a class, had failed to pay his rent. The terror on Asher's face had been palpable. But of course it was. Kaine did have a gun pressed against his head. I wonder... Anxiety began to curdle in the pit of Noah's stomach. Not for Kaine, this time, who might have done something foolish, but for Asher. Kaine had left Asher alone in his dream, but there was no guarantee he hadn't returned to finish the job off. I doubt it. I highly, highly doubt it. The moment you showed any care for Asher, Asher being a target in his mind probably went right out the fucking door. At least I hope so. It seemed important all of a sudden that Noah call his brother. He had to know if he was alright. Noah retrieved his phone once again, then, with shaking fingers, he pulled up Asher's contact info and called him. The phone buzzed as Noah pressed it to his ear, and he cursed under his breath. Come on, Asher, pick up the phone. Come on, come on, come on. The phone rang for what felt like entirely too long. Noah's insides all the while squirmed. He was just about beginning to lose hope when on the 7th ring it connected. Hey Noah, what the fuck? Asher's voice was bleary from a lack of sleep and not particularly happy. This, however, was par for the course. Asher was never happy when he spoke to Noah. He sounded just about the same as usual, no worse for wear after his brush with death. Did you not remember it? Hey Asher, I just wanted to ask. I don't care what you just wanted to ask. It's 6:30 in the fucking morning. There better be some good fucking reason to wake me up at this godforsaken hour. Unless you're just trying to piss me off even more? He hadn't been talking to Asher for all that long, but his relief in knowing Asher was alright was rapidly dwindling. Part of him had to wonder whether it would have been such a bad thing really if Kaine had killed him. But no. Asher might have been a dick, but he didn't deserve to die. No, I'm not trying to piss you off. Why would I bother? I seem to piss you off just by existing. Noah's reply was deadpan, devoid of the earlier anxiety he felt. He wouldn't have been surprised if Asher had ended the call then and there, but... Well, you're not wrong about that. At least you're self-aware. He snorted. Now, what the hell do you want? This might sound kind of weird, but... I was wondering if you dreamt anything last night. Yeah, you're right. That is weird. Asher scoffed. Don't tell me you called me so we could have a heart-to-heart about our fucking dreams, of all things. No, I'm not delusional. I'd never expect a sincere heart-to-heart with you. I was just curious. And you woke me up before 7 out of sheer fucking curiosity? Maybe I did. How about you just try humoring me for once? You might not get it now, but it's important. Important, huh? Asher sighed. I've heard enough about dreams from Daisy to last a lifetime. She was always talking about them too. Your ex, I guess. Don't you already know that? But whatever. To answer your question, if I dreamt anything last night, which I might not have since you woke me up so fucking early, I don't remember it. Not a single thing? Not one. Why? feel like I'm being interrogated right now. No, well, kinda. It's a bit hard to explain. That's what Daisy always said too when I asked her what exactly she was researching. You and her aren't working together, are you? Noah thought back on his brief meeting with Daisy in Asher's dream, and he shook his head. No, but I, did meet her briefly. You met her? Depends on your definition of meet, or met. Well, that's complicated too, is it? I should have figured. My cat is making alien noises. What? Weirdo. Noah sighed. Well, never mind. I've heard everything I want to hear. I'll see you later? Sure, whatever. But the maddeningly non-committal reply, one which could by no means be called polite, but which was rather like Asher, the other line went dead. Asher must have hung up. Noah slid his phone back into his pocket, his expression pensive. So, Asher isn't dead. That's a silver lining at least. What about Kaine, though? Where could he have gone? Noah rose to his feet, then stared at the fridge. It was a great white appliance, smooth and clean, which hummed. Kaine had left Noah a note. Noah remembered that first day Noah had stayed at his apartment when he had gone to work. But the front of his parents' fridge was barren. There was no colorful magnets on the fridge's door, nor any shopping lists or to-do lists tacked on there. Kaine hadn't left him a single thing. Well, so much for that. I guess I should have expected it, though. Kaine's obviously run away, and I doubt he wants me to find him. Why would he leave a note? That would defeat the purpose. Noah sighed as he reclined, his fingers pinching the bridge of his nose. He could feel the beginnings of a headache coming on. He knew he ought to make something to eat, or failing that, something to drink, but he couldn't bring himself to move. He felt too weary, but no, it wasn't even that. His fatigue was so great, it felt as though he had been crushed. Noah hadn't had to worry, though. Noah hadn't had to worry during the last week about making his own food. Kaine had always taken care of that. Kaine had taken care of a lot of things. Maybe I've been taking him for granted. I never realized just how much he did for me. But it's too late to think about that now. Noah looked at his phone again. His texts and calls had all gone ignored and unanswered. Is this how Kaine felt when I didn't reply to him? I've never been on the receiving end of this before. It's not a great feeling. Well, I'm glad you're understanding now. Uneasily. I mean, it was like, what, 7 years? Ever since August died? And you've been in a hole of despair for all that time. I mean, you're feeling like this now. Imagine how Kaine's been feeling for those 7 years. Yeah, I can imagine he'd be pushed to the point where it's like, well, is the only thing that's gonna help Noah these people being out of his lives forever, so he never has to worry about them again? It totally makes sense why he would be, like, pushed to that point, or pushed to thinking that that would be the solution. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Are we gonna get some retrospectiveness going on here? Uneasily, Noah gnawed on the inside of his cheek. I'm gonna move my mouse here. He gnawed so hard it hurt. The taste of iron filled his mouth, and he winced. Ouch. Of course, if Kaine had been there, he would have chided Noah for that. He continued to live up to his teenage title of the mom friend even now. August might have been gone, but Kaine had always been determined to look after Noah. He had done his very best, hadn't he? Was all of this killing really a part of that? Kaine's always said that he wanted to make me happy, and I don't think he was lying. He's sincere, I think. Maybe he thought by getting rid of the people who had wronged me, it would offer me I don't know, a sense of catharsis? Did he think this would make me happy? I don't think Kaine would kill people for the thrill of it. He's not like that. He must have thought he was acting for the greater good. I can almost see the logic behind it, even though it is twisted. What would August have thought about this? Oh god. He would have hated the idea of people dying like this. If only he was still around, he could have talked more sense into Kaine than I ever could. Noah frowned, still gnawing at the inside of his cheek with his teeth. The tang of blood was still present. Noah was so lost in thought, however, it did not register. If August was still alive and we'd broken up, would August have gotten targeted too? Then again, if he was still alive, then Kaine never would have done all this to begin with. It's my own fault. Kaine never would have hurt August, would he? Highly doubtful. Highly, highly doubtful. If August made you happy, no. Noah shook his head, trying to rid the thoughts from his brain. But instead, they began to settle. A few weeks ago, Kaine had said he was there when August died. That's how he knew Crow couldn't possibly be him. Noah had dismissed the notion entirely. Kaine had been at the hospital, sure, but there was no way it was anything more than that. Noah was on the mountainside that night, not Kaine. Noah was the one who failed August, not Kaine. It was an accident, that's what everyone said. He slipped in the rain on the uneven terrain and he fell. Oh, you're not thinking that Kaine killed August to begin with, are you? Oh, I highly doubt that's the case, right? Please let that be the case, oh my god. But Noah hadn't seen August in his ward. By the time he got into the hospital, August was already... What am I thinking? August's death was nothing, or has nothing to do with Kaine. That was years ago. Kaine would never have hurt him. Kaine might have killed my parents, and he might have tried to kill my brother. But he and August were friends. There would have been no reason to hurt August back then. If he's really killing people to help me heal, then that would make sense, or that would make no sense. I have to find him, I have to talk to him, or your brain's gonna keep going in circles, and then my brain's gonna keep going in circles, and we're both gonna just fucking devolve into madness. Noah's eyes hardened with resolve. Then he rose to his feet. He knew all of a sudden what he had to do. He couldn't simply sit in his parents' living room waiting for Kaine to call him. He had to go looking himself. The time for an action was over. Thank God. Kaine has spent years going after you. It's about time you go after him. Shit. Noah cursed under his breath as he glanced about, holding one hand to his eyes to shield it from the sun. It was all well and good proclaiming that he had to find Kaine, but he hadn't banked on one crucial factor, namely that he didn't know where to look. Noah had been wandering around the town for several hours already, stopping by the locations that he and Kaine had visited the day previously, to little avail. He had even asked a few of his old classmates, the ones Kaine had given him the numbers of, whether they had seen him, but his queries hadn't yielded any results. It seemed that nobody knew where Kaine was, least of all Noah. Noah was positive that Kaine couldn't have gone too far. His car was still parked in the driveway, but their town, though not especially large, was not especially small either. There were plenty of places Kaine could have been. Noah had visited all of the cafes they had frequented during their teenage years, but even that had ended in failure. It was as though Kaine had disappeared. Maybe he took a train out of here, or a bus. But why would he leave his car behind? That doesn't make any sense. If he wanted to escape, that'd be the quickest way to go about it, unless he was worried about stranding me here? Now that Noah thought about it, that wasn't a wholly preposterous proposition. Kaine's always putting other people before himself. As far as serial killers go, he must be one of the most considerate I've ever met. Not that I've met any other serial killers, of course. I don't think, at least. With a search of the residential and shopping areas drawing a blank, Noah had moved his investigation to the mountain. Noah had spent a lot of time with Kaine in the past, down the secluded mountain trail. It had been here, amongst the trees, that Noah had first told Kaine about the kiss he had shared with August. Kaine had initially looked surprised, but he had later congratulated him. He sounded sincere about it too. I was afraid he'd judge me, but he didn't treat me any differently. Kaine's always had my back. I thought that I could trust him with anything. These sentimental thoughts accompanied Noah during his walk. He descended down the mountain trail, then took a detour. He didn't head back to the street as he would have if he had been following his old commute to school. Instead, he turned left, where the trees were even more numerous, letting them swallow him. He trudged through the undergrowth, glancing this way and that. Noah's senses were finally honed, his head whipping about with every single sound he heard. Every time the leaves rustled or a twig underfoot snapped, Noah wondered whether it might be Kaine. It never was, however. For all his searching, Noah still couldn't find him. The trees eventually thinned out, and the sound of running water filled the air. Noah had made it to the river, the same stream he had sat to sketch while a teenager. Noah had always liked this place. It was quiet and secluded, far away enough from the main road that it was impossible to hear any traffic. It was only a 20-minute walk away from his home, and it provided a perfect place to escape from the confines of that house. Noah had come here with Kaine in the past too, to sit and chat while the water flowed in the background. But Kaine was not here. The riverside was not abandoned, however, not like Noah had expected. There was a young man sitting there on a tree stump with a lithe leg folded over the other. Even from a distance, Noah recognized him. Asher? Nope. Yvonne. The moment you said holographic. That holographic jacket was quite the fashion statement, particularly when the sunlight caught it. It was positively blinding. Noah didn't know anybody else who dressed like this, not in the real world at least. Clothes like this might not have been out of place on singers and music videos, but they looked ridiculous when contrasted with the real world. The man was, of course, Yvonne? Noah frowned. What the hell are you doing here? Yeah, what are you doing here? Noah took a step towards Yvonne, the grass depressing underfoot, then frowned. Huh? Didn't expect to see you here. You can say that again. I might be nearly as shit as you with communication, but even I know there's no way, or that's no way to greet a friend. Are we friends though? Are we? Yeah, since when are we friends? Or since when were we friends? Do you let strangers stay in your apartment? Yeah, in this case anyway. Noah took a seat beside Yvonne as he spoke, bringing his legs up against his chest. There was something contradictory, he knew, in refuting Yvonne's claim that they were friends, then sitting beside him regardless. But I might as well. It's not like I've discovered anything of note during the last few hours. I was due a break anyway, and Yvonne might have an idea or two. You haven't answered my question either. What are you doing here? Yvonne shrugged noncommittally. I work near here sometimes. You work? Yeah, you work? What the fuck? You got a problem with that? I just can't imagine you having a job, especially this far from the city. It's the kind of work I can do from anywhere. I just happen to be back here for a bit. Huh? Back? What are the chances you happen to be my tiny little hometown, or be in my tiny little hometown? What a coincidence. You're from here? Yeah, I was born here. Stayed until I was 17 or so. Then what are you doing here? I came with Kaine to investigate those murders. Had to sort out some shit with my brother, I guess. You're looking awfully alone for someone on a trip with their friend. Kaine and I had a bit of a fight. Has his obsessive protectiveness of you gotten a little old? What? He's not like that. Of course he is. That's a man that doesn't give a shit about himself. I can relate to that at least. That doesn't make any sense. He's always cared about himself, his looks, his grades, the way people perceive him. From my point of view, he's always cared about his ability to look after you. Gotta be successful and well-liked to be in the position to care for someone, right? Not that I care. So, you solved your little murder problem yet? That silence is rather telling. I caught him. I caught him in the act. The killer? Noah nodded, eyes to the ground. A small part of Noah still wanted to cover for Kaine, even after knowing all he had done. He didn't want to betray him, not to Yvonne, whom Kaine had never liked. But it seemed silly to worry about betraying him now. I'm not the one who killed his family. I don't owe Kaine anything. It's him. That's a little vague. It's Kaine. Yvonne did not respond to this news immediately. He seemed, instead, to be digesting matters for a few moments, his face impassive as always. That goody two-shoes? I saw him with a gun to my brother's head. I never would have pegged him as a killer. I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. You can say that again. When we first met, I thought you could have been the culprit. Thinking about it, it makes sense. He has a hero complex when it comes to you. And now he's trying to make anything that hurt you vanish. I wonder if he wanted to kill me, too. Ha! I would have enjoyed that. That's not a normal reaction. Have I ever claimed to be normal? To be fair, no. No, you have not. And you've never presented yourself as normal. So, yeah. Point taken. Noah fell silent. He observed the gently flowing river, whose surface rippled uneasily, the water undulating as though it were alive. Many years ago, when he had been back in high school, Asher had thrown all of his sketchbooks into that river. Noah could recall taking off his shoes and socks by these banks, then wading in there to retrieve all of his damp, sodden sketchbooks. He had known, of course, as the sun beat down on him, that it was a wasted effort. The sketchbooks had all been ruined. They'd been waterlogged, the delicate watercolors and pencil sketches inside sodden. August had found him back then, and he had helped him, but it still hadn't been enough. Noah had appreciated all the same, though. He hadn't been used to people standing up for him, people other than Kaine, that was. Kaine was there for me before August was. We've known one another since we were kids. Is that why he did all that? Or why he did what he did? Maybe he felt like it was his duty to protect me during all the times when he wasn't there? Noah shook his head. Dwelling on the past would do him no good. He had been thinking of the past for 6 years, and as a result, he had stagnated. If I hadn't wallowed in my own misery for as long as I did, maybe Kaine wouldn't have felt compelled to try and tidy up my past. It's too late to regret all of this now, of course. But I wonder what would have happened if I had tried a little harder. So, what do you think? Noah looked back at Yvonne, suddenly desperate for somebody to talk to. Desperate for somebody to pull him out of his head. What do I think about what? About the fact that your best friend... About the fact that your best friend leaning towards boyfriend is a serial killer? It's not like that, we're just friends. Yvonne just shrugged. I don't really care. If he wants to kill people, then whatever. It doesn't really affect me. I'm not sure why I bothered asking. Did you expect me to be your moral compass or something? People die every single day. Who cares if he caused a few of those deaths? Me? Their families? Do you really care? It seems to me like you're looking for a reason to forgive him. It's not that easy. He lied so many times. He killed people. How can I forgive someone like that? I've been looking for him all day just so I can have some answers, but he's just gone. Need some help? What, you want to help me? I've always been helpful. Press X to doubt, but maybe you can actually be helpful this time. We'll see. I wouldn't say that. Even if you wanted to help, I wouldn't know how you could. I don't know where Kaine's gone. It's like he's disappeared into thin air. Into thin air, huh? Sometimes I understand why Kaine babies you. Do you have a brain in that head of yours? What? Why the fuck are you insulting me right now? He probably disappeared into a dream. Oh, that's right. The physical body actually fucking disappears. What? Noah gasped. He had considered that before. But now that Yvonne mentioned it, it did make sense. Now that he knew Kaine could also enter dreams, there was nothing stopping him from making his escape into one of them. It would explain why he'd left his car behind. He wouldn't need it inside a dream. There was one issue Noah had with this idea, however. I don't know if Kaine would do that, though. He always told me I couldn't escape into my own fantasies, even before all this crazy stuff started. He said it was important that I faced reality. Heh. Yvonne snorted. His take is as boring as he is. Kaine's being Kaine's been able to live in reality because up until now, his reality consisted of him having a well-paying job, living in a fancy apartment, and being well-liked and well-respected by all of his peers. Now, though, he's a serial killer. That's what you see him as. Wouldn't you want to escape reality too after all that? I can't blame him for that. Reality fucking sucks. Okay, hold on. Yvonne's speaking sense. If I could just escape to a fucking dream for the next 4 years, I fucking would. Man. Noah pondered this for a few moments, turning Yvonne's words over in his head. Would he want to escape from reality if he was in Kaine's position? Probably. I've wanted to escape reality for less. When I thought Mr. Floyd betrayed me, when my mom stopped me from seeing August, when Asher threw all of my sketchbooks into the river, I wanted to escape from reality when all of that happened. You're right. If I was in Kaine's position, I don't think I'd want to live in the real world either. Probably the most reasonable thing he's ever done. Come with me to find him, please. My assistance probably comes with a cost. Which would be... my employer doesn't like me slacking off on the job. If she knows what I'm doing, she... Is it what's-her-nuts? Daisy? Was that her name? Asher's ex. If she knows what I'm doing, she might be interested in meeting you. How would she find out about this? Yvonne shrugged again. I guess that's a risk I'm willing to take. I like your lack of self-preservation. And then, before he could even brace himself, the world fell out from underneath both of them. Blah, 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 blah. Noah's stomach lurched as a feeling of weightlessness came over him. No matter how many times he entered the world of dreams, he still couldn't wrap his head around it. But maybe that's to be expected. How is anybody supposed to get used to something that ought to be impossible? The feeling of sickness eventually subsided, and Noah cracked his eyes open. Cautiously, he glanced about. He wasn't sure whose dream he had ended up in, or where he would be. Oh, disappointed woman. I have to say, Asher, I'm disappointed in you. I thought that you were better than this. But this uncertainty was soon shattered. Noah's surroundings came into sudden sharp focus, like a dial had been adjusted on the side of a microscope. Noah was standing in an office, facing a middle-aged woman with chestnut hair and an attractive face. The last time Noah had seen this woman, she had been a silhouette, a shadowy figure in Asher's dream. Yep. That teacher of Asher's that was in line to the gates of heaven. Am I lagging? No, we're good. It was a little weird for a second. He still recognized her, however, though he could see more of her features. This was Professor Pearson, one of Asher's lecturers from university. Is this Asher's dream, then? I don't know if we'll find Kaine here. You're a smart boy, Asher. You just need to apply yourself more. If I was grading you based on merit alone, I would have passed you without any issue, but as it stands... I don't know if we'll find Kaine here. Unless he's come back for Asher, that is. Next place, then. The world once again shifted around them. Professor Pearson's office melted away, to be replaced with an interior which was slightly more familiar. Wait, so was Asher asleep again? Noah was in his living room, his mother facing him. She frowned when she saw Noah. And where have you been, School finished 3 hours ago. Don't tell me you were hanging around with that Rivers boy again. I already told you he's a bad influence. Noah's mother cast her gaze sideways, her eyes meeting Yvonne's. And who in the world is this? Why would you be here? Wouldn't this be considered like your dream? Or your mother's dream, but your mother's dead. I am confusion. Those clothes are ludicrous. He didn't escape from a circus, did he? Maybe I did. Who's the hag? The what? I wasn't talking to you. Noah nearly burst out laughing, but instead he reined it in. My mother? Right. I can see why you didn't give a shit when she died. Noah, I demand you stop associating with this filth immediately. I might be filth, but at least I'm not a pearl-clutching middle-aged woman with a stick up her ass. For once, Yvonne is like spitting facts, and I'm enjoying it. Oh god. Oh god, okay. Adjust my legs here. Chapstick. My lips get so dry with all this reading. With almost 6 hours worth of reading. Oh boy. Noah. What are you doing with this man? We're going on a bit of a trip together? While I live and breathe, that is not going to happen. Well, you don't live and breathe, so... Now, go up to your room and prepare for dinner. Sorry to burst your bubble, but you're not living and breathing. Bye. Why am I Yvonne? Noah, you listen here. Noah did not listen here, however. He hadn't a chance. In a blink, the world around them began to alter itself once again. Colors merged and ran, like paint dripping down a canvas. Disjointed scenes began to flicker crazily in front of Noah's eyes. It was like a hellish kaleidoscope, so intense it made him feel sick. There was a circus tent in flames, acrid smoke filling the air, a castle fit for a fairy tale princess, its ramparts covered in thorns, a hall full of mirrors extending out into infinity. Ah! And then, with a sudden jolt, the world righted itself. The flickering images dispersed, as though they had never been there in the first place. Noah's soles met solid ground, and his stomach lurched upwards inside him. He gagged, one hand pressed to his throat. Nausea swirled inside him, threatening to erupt from past his parted lips. Swallow it down, boy. I don't wanna see that. But after taking several lungfuls of clean air, he was able to steady himself. Don't go dying on me. Yeah, well, that's the plan. Thank fuck for that. Somebody sounds relieved. Noah raised an eyebrow. I didn't think you cared that much. I'm not a huge fan of dead bodies. That's more Kaine's thing, huh? Noah inhaled a breath of air carefully, then glanced about. His eyes were burning after the onslaught of images he'd been exposed to, but he thought he recognized his surroundings. It was dark, and he was surrounded by trees. It was the mountains, on the trail he and Kaine and August had always taken to school. It was raining heavily. Noah had always thought that the mountains were pretty, but that was during the day when the sun was high in the sky. At night, however, it was much more eerie. Noah knew he was inside a dream, but his surroundings had been replicated so perfectly every rustle in the undergrowth made him start. Noah glanced about, his eyes straining in the dark and the storm. The moon was bright, but mostly concealed behind the heavy rain clouds. I can barely see a foot in front of my face. This reminds me of that night. Don't think about it, Noah. I'm here for Kaine. Noah continued to crane his neck, looking this way and that, when... Ah! Yvonne froze in place. Sunshine? What are you talking about? Oh god, oh god. Oh no. Noah followed Yvonne's line of sight, squinting through the darkness and rain. He gasped. There was a figure out there after all, standing several paces away. Noah hadn't noticed him at first, given it was so very dark. Now his eyes had begun to adjust, however, he could make this person out. It's gonna be August. And Yvonne knows him? They had fair blonde hair. Fair blonde hair. Did I say that right? I feel like that came out of my mouth wrong. I don't know. For a moment, Noah thought it was Crow. They could have been Crow's mirror image, in fact. But the boy standing beneath the stars, his head bent as he checked his phone, wasn't Crow. It was August. What is he doing out here? What's going on? Whose dream is this? Is it mine? Kaine's? August's? It's like he never left me. It's like he never died. What's he doing there, though? Out in the mountains, so late at night. It isn't safe here. Don't tell me. Ugh, it's getting chilly. August mumbled this under his breath as he shifted from foot to foot. His finger still curled around his phone. Where are you, Noah? You were meant to be here 15 minutes ago. Wait, what? He's waiting for me? Then does that mean... Why? How? Yvonne, do you know August? August? That's August. He was we knew each other from school. For once, Yvonne looked genuinely confused, scared, perhaps even dumbfounded, staring at August like he was seeing a ghost. I have to go talk to him. Hey, Yvonne, wait, what are you doing? Noah grabbed hold of Yvonne's sleeve and he turned back with a scowl. Just wait. We can go talk to him in a minute, but don't you think this could be important? If this is Kaine's dream. But I have so many things to say to him. Me too. Yvonne knows August, but how? I never saw them together. Yvonne didn't go to my school, did he? Could they have known each other before August moved here? Noah's thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the rain getting even heavier. Geez, the rain really isn't letting up. I didn't say anything about this on the weather forecast. Maybe I should have brought an umbrella? A large gust of wind passed through, rustling the leaves overhead and catching them to skitter across the ground. Droplets of moisture fell from the cloudy sky. They struck the top of August's head, slid down the nape of his neck. He shuddered, then glanced about, his eyes narrowed behind the lenses of his glasses. I've got to get to shelter. I'm sure Noah will be here soon. He was waiting for you out here? In this weather? There wasn't anything I could do about it. I can't watch this. I can't go through this again. August hurried off, presumably to find a canopy of trees he could duck beneath. All the while, as he walked, the rain continued to fall about him. The droplets struck the ground over and over, like continued artillery fire, more rapidly than they had before. I don't know if it's a coincidence or not, but we're describing the rain exactly as we did when Noah found out about Kaine being the murderer. Like, the rain fell on his scalp, then trickled down his nape. It made him shudder, and now the rain is like continued artillery fire. There's more than one way we could describe this, but we're describing it the same way we did then. I am curious. Is that just reusing narration, or is there a reason for that? I'm suspicious of you, game. I'm suspicious. Yvonne and Noah followed the boy from a distance, careful not to be spotted. Noah wanted to run out and talk to August. He wanted to stop him from being out there, alone and cold. But somewhere deep down inside, he knew that it wouldn't change anything. August? Oh boy. August whipped his head about in the direction of Kaine's voice, as too did Noah. Kaine, what are you doing out here? I could ask you the same thing. It's raining, you know. It's dangerous. You should go home. I don't know if I really have a home to go back to. But that's not important. It sounds plenty important to me. Do you want to stay over at my house? I wouldn't want to impose on your dad. August shook his head. My dad likes you. He wouldn't mind at all. Kaine really was there that night? He spoke to August before he... Noah swallowed. He knew what was going to happen, just as surely as he knew that the leaves would fall off the trees during the autumn months. It was inevitable. This wasn't a dream, but a memory. He was watching the events of 6 years ago unfold, the events which had led to August's untimely demise. He had been waiting out here in the dark on a mountain for Noah. He had waited and waited, and then... Did Noah tell you I was going to be here? August approached Kaine, taking care as he did not to slip. The mountain paths were ill maintained, and they were hard enough to navigate during the day, let alone in the dark. It looked like August was being careful. But will that really be enough? No, I was just taking a walk to clear my head. Were you waiting for him? He was supposed to meet up with me a while ago, but he hasn't even texted me. I wonder if his parents are causing him trouble. That's what they do. Mostly his mom, but definitely the both of them. You should head back. I'm sure Noah will text you when he can. I should at least send him a text. Ah, my phone went flat. Well, why don't we walk back together? I left my phone at home, but I can text him for you and let him know you went home. Thanks, Kaine. You really are a great friend. Doesn't always feel like it. Well, trust me, you are. Thanks for coming to my rescue, Prince Charming. August smiled and laughed softly, as he always did. He had a way of cheering up anyone when they were down. Please. Kaine scoffed. You'd be better off saving those lines for Noah. Oh, you know about that, huh? August's voice was slightly tinged with shyness, but he didn't look away from Kaine. Noah's pretty obvious with his interests. That's true. I guess he isn't subtle, but maybe that's why I like him so much. He's very honest. The two continued, walking further up the mountain. Yvonne and Noah followed. Watch your step now. This weather really is terrible. Noah should have picked a better night to invite you out. I've not seen a downpour this bad in months. I don't mind the rain. I think it's relaxing. It's less so when you're out in it, and the wind keeps blowing it into your face. Well, that's true. It would have been nice if I had a camera, though. I think the scenery is very, scenic. You have a real way with words. God, they were cute together, too. We could have been a threesome. Oh, God, and Kaine is probably gonna have to watch him die, like, right in front of him. Oh, my God. I tried my best. English has never been my greatest subject. A gust of wind blew hard again, harder than before. Silence lapsed between the pair as they continued onwards. Kaine was taking the ascent slowly, feeling out the best path. What even Noah didn't realize is that had August seen his face at that moment, he would have realized the water running down Kaine's cheeks was more than just rain. Careful on the right, there's some roots sticking out of the path. Try the left instead. All right, Captain. We make a pretty good team. Maybe we could take up mountaineering? Well, I do like stretching my legs. Though I'd rather not do it in the pouring rain. Maybe we could bring Noah along too. That would be fun. He isn't the most athletic. But he might agree to it if you're the one who asks. Overhead, thunder rumbled. There was an ominous crack, and then a fork of lightning shattered the sky. Shit, that doesn't sound good. Maybe we should try and pick up the pace. I don't know about you, but I don't fancy being struck by a stray bolt of lightning. It doesn't sound like the best way to go. I mean, at this point, maybe it would have been better than how I think you're about to die. Agreed. I don't think we're too far from the top, at least. Just be careful, alright? It's pretty steep. One wrong move and then... Ah! August? Kaine's eyes widened with alarm. He turned about, searching for August in the dark. August shouldn't have been that far behind him. They've been walking in tandem for most of their ascent in the mountain, but... Shit. It was raining so hard, their visibility had been severely compromised. The forks of lightning, meanwhile, which split the sky, did little to illuminate their surroundings. August! He was falling. Kaine watched, powerless to help him, as August pitched backwards, a dark shape which was barely indistinguishable from the rocks and the trees about him. His body hit the ground. Then he rolled. He fell back over and over, striking the ground at awkward angles. Oh no, 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 I can't watch this. I can't. I'm going to be sick. Noah stood there, frozen in place, rooted to the spot. August's cries were heartrending. Oh my god. He'd known that something like this must have happened, but he never once tried to imagine it. It had hurt too much. Now he knew the truth, however. He felt like he might be sick. Why didn't I do anything? I should have been here. I should have stopped this. It should have been me, not him. Well, I think I'm the only one around here to do this, but it needs to be done.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
It's Noah right now. Oh my god. It's not Daijobu. Oh boy. August! No. Noah might have been motionless, but it wasn't so for Kaine and Yvonne. They both sprung into action, barreling downwards towards August. Shaking off whatever he was holding, or whatever was holding his legs there, completely still, Noah rushed to catch up. Kaine had been the one who had advised caution, but he now threw it all to the wind. His own safety had become a secondary concern. Oh god. Oh god. And my cat just made a deuce again. God damn it. Why are you the stinkiest cat on the planet? Oh, it smells so bad. I think I'd rather be standing outside in this rain. Oh, God. I'm trying to blow it away from my nose. Bad smell. Go away. He's really trying to rescue August. August, it's all right. Kaine was at the foot of the mountain, cradling August to himself. He held the younger man in his arms, his eyes wide with concern. I need to get an ambulance. My phone. Shit, I don't have it. August did not respond. Sunshine. Kaine's young face snapped up, tears running down his cheeks, to look at Yvonne. Who are you? Get off your ass and start moving. We need to get him to the main street now. Right. Noah hesitated, seeing the way Yvonne jumped to action. The tone of his voice was desperate. And Noah had seen him Noah had never seen him so human, scared even. August, hang in there. It's okay. We have help. Come on, you'll be okay. Hang in there. The scenery began to shift around Noah. The trees and the mountains melted into one another. The stars began to drip in the sky, just like watercolors. Ugh. The world reformed itself, eaten up by a burst of bright white. It took Noah a few moments to realize where he was, but when he did, he gasped. He was in a hospital room. Kaine's crying. Baby boys. August lay beneath the sheets, his hair spilling across the pillow. His glasses had been removed, and his sneakers, meanwhile, were lying beside the bed, the soles splattered with dirt. August had always been a bright, sunny boy, one whose cheery smiles had captured Noah's heart in an instant. God, he's covered in bruises. August! Right now, however, he seemed a shadow of his former self. Noah had never known August to look so small, nor so sad, nor so defeated. August, please. Kaine sat by August's bedside, his face contorted with concern. Just try to hang in there, all right? The doctor said everything should be okay. And I'm sure Noah's on his way. I texted him. You've just got to keep it together for a little while longer, that's all. He won't be long now. Everything will be fine. Kaine was trying to sound confident, but Noah heard his voice crack. It was obvious just by looking at him that he didn't truly believe the words which were coming from his mouth. And why would he? Noah could tell from a distance that August wasn't in a good state. His face was so pale, it was so hard to distinguish him from the pillows which he lay his head. Weakly, he turned to look at Kaine. Kaine. Yes, what is it? Are you alright? Should I call the nurse? If you need a glass of water, I can get you one. No, That's alright. August smiled, a little bemused, perhaps, by the intensity of Kaine's offer to help. I don't think I need a nurse. Not when I have you. I'm choking. I'm choking on emotion. And on stinky cat air. You're even more attentive than they are. And you really have done a lot for me. Thank you for bringing me here. And thank you for staying with me. It's appreciated. Well, of course I'm going to stay with you. That's not even a question. We're friends. Best friends. I'd never abandon you. I know. You'd never do anything like that. You really are a great guy. Noah looked around. He couldn't see Yvonne anymore. I thought you hated me in the beginning. What? I peered out of the blue and took Noah's attention, didn't I? I'm sorry. But you never complained. You've always been really supportive, both of Noah and of me. I'm very lucky that I met you. You have no idea how much it meant to me, being your friend. Huh? What do you mean meant? Your fall wasn't that serious. You're not going to die from a few cracked ribs. I won't let you. I wasn't aware I needed your permission. August laughed weakly, though it was short-lived. His chuckle soon transmuted into a wince, then a series of sharp inhalations, one which made Kaine grimace. Maybe you should stop talking. You're only making yourself worse. Just take deep breaths, alright? And try not to worry. Noah will be here soon. He has to be. You tell me not to worry, and yet August's expression softened. I think you're worrying more than I am. Oh, look at his expression. Well, yeah, we're friends. Noah adores you. If anything happened to you, he'd be devastated. That's why you can't die, you hear? From a fall like that, or not from a fall like that. I'm doing my best. It feels hard to breathe, Kaine. It feels like something is creeping over my skin and pulling. Shit. Kaine cursed, his face taut with panic. Okay. An ad break's happening. I'm going to do something about this fucking stinky cat box air because, dear God, my stinky ass cat is choking me. So I'll be right back. Okay, there's like 25 seconds left to the ad set. I'm back. Oh god. I had to Febreze my entire fucking apartment. And the little bastard didn't even cover it. He just shat it out and just left it there. No wonder it was stinking so bad. Now I'm choking on Febreze, but it's better than shit smell. I can't close this lid. Ads are over. Nice. There we go. Get some chapstick real quick. Okay. Oh. Kaine cursed, his face taut with panic. Maybe I really should go and find a nurse. They'll know what to do. Everything will be alright, so... Kaine. August held Kaine's hand even tighter. He held Kaine in place with more strength than one might expect from a bed-bound individual. Then, in a voice which was surprisingly authoritative, he spoke up. Don't go, please. I don't want to be on my own. It'll only be for a little while, though. I'll find somebody. Everything will be alright. Isn't there usually like a button to call a nurse? You have to be alright. If you're not, Noah will... He'll be fine. How can you say that? You know how much he cares about you. Hell, he loves you. He loves you with all of his heart. I know he does. Once again, August winced. He didn't, however, drop his hand from Kaine's. I know that Noah will be upset, but he'll be able to endure. He'll have you after all. He won't be alone. So please, don't cry. Not over me. Everything will work out, like you said, one way or the other. Hello and welcome, Raiders. Thank you, Astrophel, for the raid. Welcome on in. I am Dokebi Dust. If you don't know me, I play a lot of horror games, RPGs, and visual novels. Playing a visual novel right now, as you can see. If you need to do any after stream care, by all means do so. If you want to stick around as well, would love to have y'all here. What I'm playing right now is called Dreambound. It's a BL, or Boys Love, visual novel. I think we're getting close to the end, at least of the route that I chose. Gotta go to bed, but have a great stream? Yeah, no worries. You have some good EPs. I did a shout out, but no clip is playing. Must not have. Play it.
You may just
play
find
it.
in your
Oh, there we go.
heart to consider my proposal.
Proposal. Proposal. Why is that a mood? I feel that. But anyway, yes, play Dreambound. I'm doing Kaine's route, which is this brown-haired dude right here, and oh boy, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. Right now, we're seeing how precious boy August here passed away. Yep, he was the childhood friend one. Yep. Oh my lord, his route has been a lot emotionally, especially so far in this episode. My god, oh, this episode and the last time I streamed it. My lord. He's got a lot of that. I would do anything to protect you. Okay, I hop off before I get spoiled. Yes, don't get spoiled. Good night. Sweet dreams. I'll continue being emotionally devastated. Even if I'm not around, because you'll be there. Okay, August. Can you stop breaking my fucking heart? What? But August, no. You can't. I can't. And why is that? You've known him a lot longer than I have. I can't think of anybody who'd take better care of him than you. I know it means a lot to you, more than you'll admit. That is... Kaine inhaled. He stared at August, his expression tortured. Whatever I feel, it doesn't matter at all. I just want you to be okay, and Noah to have you and be happy. You can be honest with me, Kaine. I want you to be. I know that he likes you, and I know I don't have any chance with him, but that doesn't change the fact that I'm in love with him too. I'm dying. I'm dying. Silence passed following Kaine's confession. Noah stared at him, still standing in the entrance of the hospital ward, unseen by both Kaine and August. Huh. Yeah. He loves me? How long has he felt this way about me? I know. August, however, seemed less stunned by this news than Noah. He smiled wryly, his hand still within Kaine's. I can tell. Huh? Then all this time you knew? I picked up on it eventually. If I'd realized sooner, maybe I wouldn't have gone so close to Noah. But by the time I did realize, it was too late. I had already fallen for him. Softly, August laughed, a weak sound which culminated in a breathy exhalation of pain. August, please. Kaine gave August's hand a squeeze. Don't talk. You need to conserve your energy. I'm sure Noah will get here soon. Then you can tell him that you slipped and that you were stupid, but everything will be alright. You have to be alright. I mean, he loves you. I know. A perturbed look flashed across August's face, one which furrowed his brow, but it soon faded. He smiled once again, albeit tremulously, and quietly he said, "But part of me wishes he didn't now." Why? Because this is going to kill him too. Stay with him, Kaine. Don't give up on him if he gives up on you, okay? Of course, I'll always be there for him, but please don't make us go through that. Just stay strong. August looked up at Kaine. His face was deathly white, like whey, and his blonde hair was hopelessly disheveled. His breathing was irregular, it sounded strained. His every exhalation caught in his throat like a burr. August was only 18, but he was wheezing like someone far older. Where the fuck are the doctors and the nurses? With how critical condition he is in, there should be like constant observation until we know he's stable. Like, what the fuck? Noah could see the life beginning to fade from August's green eyes. His irises looked horribly dull, his face strangely naked without the lenses of his circular glasses. But before August's eyelids could slide shut, he was able to choke out one last plea. Take care of Noah for me. Look after him. And don't let anybody hurt him. More than I'm going to. If you can promise me that, then I can go without any regrets. Well, of course I'll look after Noah. That goes without saying. I'll always be there for him, but what good is it when you're not here? You're the one he loves. You're the one he cares about. If you die, I don't know what he'll do. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know. August, please. Oh, he closed his eyes. No. August. Fuck, I'm gonna cry. Oh no. No. Deep breaths. Oh, I got tears in my fucking eyes. Nope. Okay. Kaine entreated August, his voice rising in pitch with every exclamation. Oh, he sounded half crazed, and he looked it too. His eyes were wide and frantic, his pupils tiny pinpricks in a vast white sea. But August did not reply to him. Perhaps he could not. The ability of speech seemed one he could no longer muster. Did he not have the energy? He was still breathing, albeit barely, but... August? Even these weak, shallow breaths began to taper out. The silence between August's labored inhalations became longer and longer until... Oh, fuck. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to Noah. I thought you loved him. How could you die from a little fall like that? How could you? Even August's inhalation ceased. His body, which lay on the snowy white hospital bed, was indistinguishable from a corpse on a mortuary slab. Oh, God. His skin was ghostly white, his eyelids tightly shut. His lips were pursed, but no breath came from between them. He wasn't breathing. He must have... August, you bastard. The tears came faster now. You fucking bastard. How could you? How could you? I'll never forgive you. How could you be so selfish? Fuck. Kaine's accusations, however, fell on deaf ears. August did not chide him for being unfair, which he was, and neither did he tease him for being foolish, which, again, he was. August didn't say anything at all. No one knew, as he stood in the threshold of the white, featureless hospital room, that August would never say anything again. He was dead. Noah had not been to visit August. In the hospital room. Noah had arrived at the hospital too late. By the time he'd gotten there, August had already passed away. August's father, Jasper, had asked Noah whether he wanted to see his son to say his final goodbyes, but Noah hadn't been able to muster the courage. He had been too afraid. He had never seen August lying there, his eyes closed, his blonde hair fanning behind him on a pillow like a halo. He hadn't wanted to see it. Perhaps part of him had hoped, by avoiding August's death, he could pretend that it never happened. But that was foolish, now that Noah thought about it. Ignorance could never bring the dead back to life. He left Kaine in that hospital. He never knew what Kaine had gone through. He had left Kaine, too, at the funeral, which had been held a couple weeks later. Noah ran away from home without a single word to his best friend. For years, he had been running. But now, Noah was tired of it. He was so tired. Isn't it paradoxical being tired inside of a dream? I thought they were supposed to be peaceful. But I don't think I've had a single moment's peace ever since August died. Trying to avoid the truth didn't make me feel any better. It only ever made me feel worse. I guess, in the end, I couldn't escape from reality. Not even inside a dream. August. Oh fuck, August. Kaine sniffled as he sat at August's bedside, his hands still tightly clasping August's. You can't do this to me, man. You can't do this to him. When Noah finds out about this, he loves you so much. Fuck. He was sobbing so bitterly. His whole body shook. Noah couldn't remember ever seeing Kaine cry like this before. Kaine always acted so calm and confident, so incredibly together that it was a rare sight. All this time, Kaine had been grieving August. He just hid it from me. Why did I ever think otherwise? Fuck. Kaine cursed under his breath, yet more tears trickling down his flushed face. Fuck. This wasn't supposed to happen. Why did everything have to work out like this? Kaine was on trembling legs like a newborn deer that Noah approached Kaine. His body felt strangely weightless, and his footsteps made no sound as he crossed the spotlessly white floor. Noah felt unfinished, like a hasty sketch of a portrait, one where only the suggestion of eyes and a nose had been penciled in. He felt vague and hazy. And maybe he was. This was a dream, after all. Kaine's tears, however. Noah was sure they were real. The thought had crossed his mind that Kaine had been the one to hurt August, but that was the stupidest thought he'd ever had. I thought Kaine might have been jealous of August for spending so much time with me. But even if that was the case, Kaine cared about August too. He cared about him more than I realized. That's why he's crying so much. How could he have hurt him? How could I ever have accused him of something like that? Kaine might know me pretty well, but I'm starting to wonder whether I know Kaine at all. Noah came to a halt by Kaine's side. His hand hovered over Kaine's shoulder for a few moments, hesitant and indecisive, almost afraid. Before, with an exhalation of air, he set down his palm. Kaine, it's alright. Softly, Noah spoke, his voice so quiet, Kaine's choked sobs overshadowed it. I know that this was an accident. You did everything you could to help him. It wasn't your fault that August. Noah's voice caught in his throat. That August. He winced, pained, as though something had caught itself in his throat. Saying it aloud was difficult. Hell, for years simply thinking it had been difficult. But he could no longer escape reality, not when it was staring him in the face. It was time to admit something he had known for a long, long time. That August is dead. The moment Noah said this, his shoulders sagged. It felt as though a great weight, one which had crushed him for almost a decade, had finally been removed. That's right. August is dead. He's dead and he's not coming back. Crow might look a lot like August, but he can't be August. I might be in a dream right now, but this is reality. I can't run away from it. I can't question it. I can't fight against it. August is dead. Noah. Kaine murmured Noah's name as though it was some sort of prayer. Kaine hadn't noticed Noah's presence in the hospital room earlier. Perhaps he hadn't been able to see him, but the sensation of Noah's hand against his shoulder made him turn. This Kaine was younger than the one Noah was familiar with. Younger than the one who had threatened to murder Asher. This Kaine wasn't a well-off adult with an array of expensive suits in his own fancy apartment. This Kaine, instead, was a teenager. One who was lost and anxious and unsure of himself, with damp eyes full of tears. Noah was unsure whether Kaine realized that they were in a dream, or whether Noah was much older than he ought to have been. Perhaps that didn't matter, though. The lines between dreams and realities were beginning to blur. Oh, Kaine, my precious baby Kaine. I don't like seeing your face covered in tears. Wait. No. No, you can't be sad because I'll be sad. Oh man. No, I'm so sorry. I wanted to help him, but I know you did. I know. Noah reassured Kaine as best as he could, but though it was the younger Kaine he was talking to, it was the elder Kaine he was thinking of. He was trying to look out for me. He was only doing what he thought was best. Can I really hate him for that? It was terrible what happened. But you weren't to blame. You did your very best. But my best wasn't good enough. I was supposed... Kaine hiccuped, more tears rolling down his flushed cheeks. I was meant to be the responsible one. I was supposed to look out for you, for both of you. Like I said, I acted like a parent. He called me the mom friend. He trusted me to take care of him. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't save August, and I couldn't take care of you. If only I tried a little harder, this could have been averted. If only I'd done something. Done what? Noah knelt down, then stared into Kaine's watery eyes, took Kaine's trembling hands in his own. What more could you possibly have done? I don't... Kaine shuddered. More tears rolled down his cheeks as he wept. I don't know. I have no idea what I could have done, but I should have done something. I shouldn't have let him die. He was right in front of me, but... Shh, it's... in the past now. It can't be changed, but... I don't resent you for it, Kaine. Not at all. Well, you should. I deserve to be resented for what I did. You should hate me. Noah thought of Kaine holding the gun to Asher's temple. The thought of Asher's face, stark white against the midnight sky, and frowned. Maybe I should hate you. Noah inhaled. But I don't. You don't? Of course not. How could I? Here we go. This is the final choice. You're more than my best friend, Kaine. You're my best friend, Kaine. No, you're way more than that. You've always been my greatest supporter, or pillar that I could lean on, even when I pushed you away. You're everything to me. Noah. Kaine. Noah rose to his feet, or at least he tried to. He was unable to put too much space between himself and the sobbing Kaine, however, because Kaine shifted forwards. Or maybe he fell? It was hard to tell how deliberate Kaine's actions were when he was sobbing so much, but one moment he was sitting at August's bedside. And the next, his arms were wound around Noah's middle. Brokenly, he sobbed like a small child. Noah couldn't see Kaine's face. It was buried in his shirt, but he could hear how desperate Kaine's sobs were, how very desolate. Noah could feel moisture staining the front of his shirt. Kaine was going to leave a damp patch when he finally pulled away. Noah was certain. But Noah didn't care. He had been pushing Kaine away and his kindness for years, but now he's been suffering just as much as I have. How did I never realize that? I really am selfish. Shh, it's alright, don't worry. Noah wound his arms around Kaine, pulling the younger man against him. He rested one hand against the small of his back, while the other ran through Kaine's hair. His heart felt like a hollow, empty, worn-out thing. He was awfully, impossibly weary, but still, he held on to Kaine. Who else did he have to cling to? Who else could understand how he felt? I'm here for you. You can cry as much as you like. I won't push you away. Really? Absolutely. After everything you've done for me, I think I owe you at least this much. I wasn't there for you in the past, but I can try and make amends. I can't go back in time, of course, and console you, but I can do this. I can try and forgive you. I'm not a saint, but if it's for your sake, I think I can do it. Noah heard a shifting from behind him. He turned slightly and saw Yvonne at the back of the room. He was uncertain how long the man had been there for. His eyes were wide as he backed up, hitting the wall behind him, eyes wide. Sunshine? He's dead? Yvonne did not speak loudly, but the hospital ward was so quiet it might as well have been a gunshot. I'm sorry. What have I been struggling all this time for? Yvonne? He's dead. The only person that mattered. And Yvonne just turned, opened the door, and left. Noah wanted to chase after him, to question him, but Kaine still clung onto his shirt, crying. Now wasn't the time to leave him behind. And so Noah just held Kaine carefully and delicately, and looked towards August's body. It wasn't really August. This was a dream, but it looked like him. Likely felt like him too, with his fading heat. It was as close as the real thing as one could get. Noah frowned. There was something off about the body. Noah was lying on the hospital bed, the white sheets pulled up about him. The sheets obscured most of him from view, but Noah could see the curve of August's shoulders obscured by his blue shirt and his neck, which protruded from it. August's neck was long and slender, and his skin was pale, unblemished. It should have been pale, at least, but what? August's body was not as it should have been. Noah could see an intricate black pattern snaking up from the collar of August's shirt. The pattern was thin, like jewelry wire, and it extended across the right side of his neck, forking off at various places. The pattern looked a little like fissures in a cracked piece of crockery, or lightning. Or a tree in the winter stripped of all its leaves. It looked familiar, unsettlingly so. Like all the dead trees in that place where Crow is? Maybe? It looked just like the marks which crept across Yvonne's right side. Oh, or those markings. The marks which had been found on his parents' bodies. The marks which had been found on Luca's. No. How? Noah stared at these ominous markings, slack-jawed. They are symptoms of dreams. Both Kaine and Noah's heads whipped around to the new voice. Crow stood in the doorway to the room, looking away. They don't just appear on those that die in their dreams. They appear on those that have been corrupted by this world. Humans are not designed to be here. Even a single trip can kill. But Crow smiled sadly. For those like you, Noah, you are resistant to the effect, but not immune. Over time, dreams can kill you too. And yet I selfishly wanted you to keep coming back. I'm sorry. That's why Yvonne was covered in those markings? That's correct. He has likely spent too much time here. What are you talking about? Dreams? That doesn't make any sense. August never... He did. Just once. Sorry, Noah. What the... Kaine looked between Noah and Crow, his face a perfect picture of wide-eyed confusion. What are you talking about? What you're saying doesn't make any sense. Noah hardly registered Kaine's voice. He was too lost in his own thoughts. I did this. I took him in a dream just the once to see his mother. Oops. The fall didn't kill him. I did. Noah? But... Hey, Noah? Noah stared off into space. The stark, bright white of the floor and the white of the walls began to melt together. It seared his eyes. His head throbbed. Then his torso bent. Something inside him broke. And he began to sob. Holy shit, Noah, what's wrong? I know you're upset about August. I'm upset too, but you still have me. I'm here. I'll never leave you, I promise. This promise might have come from a Kaine who was 6 years younger, but Noah didn't disbelieve it. He knew when Kaine promised to protect him, he meant it. He had always meant it. Kaine had been devoutly steadfast. He was always there. Noah, meanwhile, was a fuck-up. He was a loser. He was a wreck. And now, he was a killer, too. August had died, and it was all his fault. He had murdered August just as surely as he would have if he had plunged a knife between his ribs. It had been an accident, of course. He hadn't known. But what did it matter? His good intentions wouldn't erase those marks on August's neck. It wouldn't undo the damage he had caused. It wouldn't bring August back to life. Even in Kaine's dream, August had died. His passing was inevitable. Feeling guilty would accomplish nothing, and neither would crying, and yet... Ha! But that didn't stop Noah's tears from dripping down his cheeks, hotter and wetter than candle wax. Kaine stared at him in alarm, though Noah couldn't get a good look at his face, not when he was sobbing so brokenly. Hesitantly, Kaine reached forward. Perhaps he meant to rest an arm on Noah's shoulder, or else pull him into a hug, but he never had the opportunity. Cracks had begun to open up in the walls, which were too white, and the floor, which was unbearably bright. These cracks spread, growing wider and wider until the whole room groaned. It sounded as though the hospital room was in pain. If it was only fitting. Noah was in pain too. He was in so much pain, he thought his heart would split. It is time for you to go, Noah. The stream is unstable. You must return to safety. Who cared if the stream imploded, taking him alongside it? He didn't want to be alive anymore, not in reality, nor in the world of dreams. He couldn't bear to face what he had done. I judged Kaine so harshly, and look at me. I'm such a piece of shit. Noah, what's going on? The dream continued to collapse around him, the hospital room fragmenting into pieces like fine grains of sand. Noah! And then, there was nothing. The world fell apart, taking the lifeless August and the anxious, wide-eyed Kaine with it. They were gone, the world was gone, and Noah was falling. He plummeted, his body dragged down by gravity's inexorable pull. He continued to fall, on and on and on, when... Noah, I'm not going to let you be alone, not like this. I've got you. Noah felt arms whined about him, steadying him, and a voice in his ear. The voice was soft and gentle and familiar alongside it. It sounded a lot like August. But no one knew, even as he sobbed, that this person was not August. He would never see August again. Instead, it was Crow. Crow, you... Noah sniffled. Angrily, he swiped a few tears away from his eyes. He didn't want anybody else to see him cry. Why? Why are you helping me? Because I can't bear to see you hurting like this. The truth is often painful, Noah. So painful that you feel as though you want to curl up into a ball and die. But even that feeling, that urge, will pass in the end. You have to let it pass. Don't succumb to it. Make it through. Even when you can't see the other side, know that there will be one. Because the world goes on. The sun rises, the sun sets. Even if you didn't notice the morning, a new day will always come. A day where you may struggle and hurt and suffer. But also a day that you may enjoy, or grow, or laugh. This feels very appropriate of a message after the week we've had. Don't give up, Noah. How can I live knowing it's my fault? I would rather just keep falling forever. How do you think Kaine would feel about that? What? Kaine killed my parents. He tried to kill my brother. I don't know how to forgive him. I want to, I think, at least, but despite all of that, you still came here searching for him. You still care about him. Isn't that right? Noah opened his mouth and closed it. He wanted to refute this query, but he knew deep down that Crow was right. He did care about Kaine. He cared about him so much, the sight of his younger self, the anxious teenager, sobbing over August's body, had left him feeling horribly shaken. I do care about him, but you worry that you cannot ask him to care for you, not after what you did? Noah fell silent. Then he nodded. He's too good at figuring out how I feel. It almost feels like he knows me better than I know me. He really is like August. Keep hurting, Noah, and grow, then be happy one day. How could I? I don't deserve it. I am unsure how I can speak for him, but I'm certain if August were here, he would want you to be happy. He would forgive you. Do you really think so? I'm certain of it. That was simply the sort of person he was, don't you think? He had a very big heart, and he loved you a lot. To his detriment, maybe. If it wasn't for me, then August, you couldn't have known. You didn't mean to hurt him on purpose. You just wanted to make him happy. Isn't that right? Doesn't that kind of sound familiar? Doesn't that kind of sound like what Kaine did? Well, yeah. Noah sniffled, his eyes stinging, and violently wiped his eyes with the back of his arm. Of course I didn't want this to happen. I loved him. I know you did. I think a big part of you still does. Your love for August is a very pure, selfless sort of thing. It's wonderful, Noah. If I could be loved in such a way, I would consider myself very fortunate indeed. Crow's voice trailed away, and he sighed. But that is unimportant. You have someone else you can turn to now. Someone who has been bearing the burden of this tragedy on his own for many years. He loves you a lot, though it took you a while to realize. He can protect you. That was what August wanted. What? Noah brushed a few more tears from his eyes, then looked at Crow curiously. What are you talking about? Noah thought he had an idea of who Crow was hinting at. He wasn't being particularly subtle, but he had a hard time wrapping his mind around it. He must be speaking about Kaine. I've known him longer than anybody. He's always been there for me. At least until the other day when he tried to kill Asher. Then he disappeared. I've been looking for him, but I don't know what I'll do when I find him. What should I say? Should I really forgive him? Can I forgive him? Confused thoughts swirled about inside Noah's head like fog. Thoughts which battled for dominance. Noah was unsure what he was supposed to make of Kaine now, or of their friendship, or of their relationship. He told August that he loved me. And that has never fucking changed. Was that really real though, or was it all part of the dream? Does he still love me even now? No shit, Sherlock. He never stopped. Is that why he stuck by me for so long? How should I feel about that though? Noah didn't know. He had no idea, but his uncertainties did not stop the landscape from shifting about him. Good luck, Noah. Choose whatever will make you happiest. He had been drifting alongside Crow inside a void. Now, however, the scenery about him was beginning to shift. Ripples spread across the fabric of reality. Not, Noah supposed, that this really counted as reality. It was all a dream. But no, it wasn't even that. It was a dream within a dream. The static, sterile, unchanging world was altering, however. The darkness which surrounded Noah, thicker than any fog, parted. When Noah's feet hit the ground, he found himself standing once again in his old classroom. There was something cozy about the once familiar scenery, something which made Noah feel at ease. I never liked waking up early to come here, and I complained about all the homework I had to do. But this place wasn't so bad, really. Kaine was standing by the window, but it wasn't the teenage Kaine Noah had seen in the two-white hospital room. This Kaine was an adult, one whose shoulders were slumped as though set upon all of the world's hardships. By all of the world's hardships. He seemed not to have noticed Noah, because he was too busy staring out of the window. Noah turned to stare too. It was as though the school building had been plucked from its foundations and dropped into the void. Everything was silent beyond the window. And then Noah heard the whispers. They came from everywhere and nowhere all at once. They spat venom and malice. Yet Kaine didn't even move. It's all your fault. How could you? 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 You've ruined our family. You're ungrateful. You destroyed everything. Is that Kaine's mom? It sounds like her. You've been holding all of this for years all by yourself, haven't you? Haha. You must have been so happy when August died, huh? Now the voice sounded different. It was tinged with a cruel delight, a sick pleasure. Happy to have Noah all to yourself, is that right? Or isn't that right? No. No, I was jealous, sure, in the back of my mind. Maybe I wished he'd never come to this town once or twice, but I didn't want him to die. He was my friend, and Noah loved him. Kaine gripped his chest as if the guilt was overwhelming him. Please, just leave me alone. I don't have anything else left. For a few moments, he simply watched him, unsure of what to say. What was there to say? So I know you killed my parents, but... Noah shook his head. That'll never work. If Crow had been there still, perhaps he would have asked him for help, but Crow was absent. Crow might have brought him to Kaine, but it seemed he had chosen to stay behind, not wanting perhaps to intrude upon this confrontation. What am I supposed to do? A few moments passed. Noah wasn't sure how many. He was still inside a dream, and time didn't seem to pass as it should. Noah could have been standing there for seconds, or for hours. What's the point of hanging around here without saying anything, though? I went through a lot of shit to find Kaine. I can't chicken out now. I've been running away for 6 years. Now it's finally time to be brave. Noah inhaled. Then he took a step towards Kaine and called out to him. Kaine? Kaine started at this, so violently it might have been funny, was the situation not so grim. He swiveled about, his eyes wide. Then he gasped. Noah, what are you doing here? I'm tempted to ask myself the same question. I can't bring myself to abandon you, Kaine, not after everything. What do you mean? How can you stand to see me again after everything I did? I thought you despised me. You should. I thought I did too. He lied to me, manipulated me, hurt so many people. But despite all that, I still think I treated you unfairly. You think that you were unfair to me? Yeah. I care about you, Kaine. I'm so confused about my feelings and what I can or can't forgive for you, but I do care about you, and I only hope you still care about me. Noah. Of course I do. You're everything to me. I only wanted to make you happy. I only wanted to help you heal. I just wanted to look after you. He looked down at his hands. And I became a monster for it. I'm sorry, Kaine. Huh? Kaine's eyes widened in surprise. Are you really apologizing to me? There's nothing for you to apologize for. You said it before. You never asked for this. I was happy to become a monster for you. I still am. I left you. You went through so much alone. I lost August, sure, but you lost August and me. I don't deserve those words, Noah. Save them for someone better than me. I killed your parents. You hated them so much, and because of that, I hated them too. I killed Sebastian too, and Luca, and I was going to kill Asher before you interrupted me. Why would you ever want to apologize to me? I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. It seems like the right thing to do, I guess. Just go back home, Noah. I'm so thoroughly broken. I don't want you to get hurt anymore, especially not by me. I only cause you pain. I wish you would just hate me. But I don't. I can't bring myself to hate you. I can't provide you the happiness you deserve. You don't need to. We've both fucked up. We've both made a mess of our lives. But I still want you by my side. I can't condone your actions, but I do understand your reasoning, even if it's warped. I didn't get it at first, but now... Noah closed his eyes. He thought back to August's final moments in the hospital bed. August's dying plea, and winced. Look after him. And don't let anybody hurt him. Noah doubted August had meant for his final plea to be interpreted in such a bloodthirsty way, but he thought he could see the logic behind Kaine's decision. He had been trying in his own way to uphold August's final wish. He had been trying to protect him. I know you didn't act out of malice. Everything you did, it was all for my sake. You didn't derive any pleasure out of killing my parents, did you? Or out of killing our classmates? I've never hated myself more after I did what I did to your father. I had nightmares for days afterwards. Couldn't sleep. Could barely eat. Work was hell. Every time I closed my eyes, I thought about him, his final moments. I was worried I'd done something unforgivable, something evil. And I did. The sins I have committed would fill a phone book. And yet, you kept doing it. You seemed more at peace. You started drawing again. You went out of your house. You talked to people again. Talked to me. I told myself if you'd managed to regain a bit of who you used to be, maybe killing your father wasn't so awful after all. I see. So that's how you justified it. I did my best to. I don't know if I ever really became desensitized to it. It didn't even feel good when I killed Luca, and I'd fantasized about hurting him so many times. Yeah, the moment that little fucker was on screen, I fantasized about killing him. So, fair, Kaine. Absolutely fair. But killing him, it didn't undo all of the things he'd done. It didn't make him a better person either. It just made him a dead one. It didn't make me feel better. But I had hoped it would make you feel better. Now I digested this information slowly. He continued to hold Kaine's gaze, his fingers curled into fists at his side. He was still inside a dream, but his palms felt sticky. His eyes, meanwhile, were stinging. He wasn't crying anymore. Noah was unsure whether he would ever be able to cry again. He had spent all of his tears, but his cheeks were still damp. For a few moments, both men remained silent. Noah observed Kaine, while Kaine observed him. Noah didn't know what to say, what to do. He understood why Kaine had done what he did, but just because he understood did not mean he had to forgive him. Could he forgive him? The silence stretched out longer and longer until... I would be a hypocrite if I judged you too harshly for your actions, Kaine. I've done terrible things too. Terrible things I didn't even realize I was doing. What do you mean? August, he didn't die because of that fall. He died because I brought him to a dream just once. Crow told me. Humans aren't meant to be in dreams. People like me, well, like the both of us apparently, are resistant to the effects, but they kill you. Dreams eat away at flesh and soul like a poison. I did that to August. I killed him. No, you can't blame yourself for that. You didn't know. I don't think ignorance can wash my hands of something like that. I did what I did willingly. I would do it again if it would help you. What happened with August was an accident. That doesn't matter to me. It feels like my world has come to an end, and I was the one who ended it. But August wouldn't want me to give up now. I have to come to terms with it, just like you have. Kaine held Noah's gaze, his brow furrowed. Deeply, he inhaled. Then he said in a constrained voice, I don't know if I'll ever come to terms with it, Noah. I suppose I've come to terms with being a horrible person, but I don't know if that's enough. Kaine's voice trailed off. He shook his head. In the beginning, I didn't understand they would really die. I just did it because I was so angry for you. And then they started actually dying in real life. When the news broke, I was pretty freaked out, honestly. I tried to maintain this veneer of normalcy, I guess, because I was terrified that if I let my daily routine slip, things would fall apart. Would all fall apart. But instead, I was terrified. I didn't know whether my actions were really the cause, or really what caused your parents' death. And if they were, I was worried that made me a murderer. For a few days, I kept thinking the police would break down my door. And then, when they didn't, you kept going. Mutely, Kaine nodded. I told myself it was for the best. I knew how much your parents had hurt you, and I knew they'd never been punished for it, not properly. I'd always resented them. No, I hated them for the way they treated you. Trying to make you give up your passions, dictating who you could and couldn't spend time with, trying to marry you off to some random girl you didn't even know. They didn't treat you right, Noah. They didn't act like any parents should. But it's not like I could get them arrested over it. They didn't break any laws. It's not illegal to meddle in your child's private life, but once I realized there was something I could do to help you, something to make people who hurt you pay, I couldn't sit by and do nothing. It would have felt wrong. I wanted to punish them. All of them. I wanted to make everybody who'd hurt you regret it. Your parents, your brother, and fucking Luca. Mr. Floyd, too. I didn't even know what he did to you, but I was still filled with such hate. And look at how that turned out. All a big misunderstanding. You had to kill the totally innocent man. Kaine's fingers clenched into fists at his sides. He trembled. Then he exhaled. But look at me now, a fool with blood on his hands and nothing to show for it. I would have killed more if you hadn't stopped me. Can you really forgive me for that? Noah fell silent for a few moments. He observed Kaine, who was shaking. I don't know, Kaine. I really don't. I don't know if my words will be enough to absolve you of everything you've done. But, you know what? What? I could just as easily ask how you were able to forgive me. You... what? Kaine blinked, obviously confused. Why would I need to forgive you? What did you do? I left you here alone. Your parents were going through a divorce, one of your best friends up and died in front of you, and the other one ran away and dropped all contact. I was terrible to you, Kaine, and you still stood by me. You've always been there for me, and I never returned the favor. Don't think I'll ever understand how you could stick by me for all these years and never once wind up resenting me. Because I love you, Noah. I always have. I couldn't ever resent you. He straight up said it. He straight up said it in front of Noah to Noah. Ah. Not as a friend. I love you completely selfishly. Completely unconditionally. The good, the bad, the terrible, the amazing. I love all of you, every part. Oh, he's blushing. He's blushing. Ah. I really am a pathetic idiot. Here you are showing pity towards a man like me, and here I am telling you I love you. But it's true. My heart has always been yours. It was so hard to love you at times, true, but I've always excelled under difficult circumstances. You know me. Sorry, Noah. His face was just like, wait, it's a, nope. Yeah. For how long? Really? Since the beginning? Before I met August? Long before then. I think I'd liked you ever since we were kids. But it wasn't until we were in middle school that I understood my feelings well enough to think, oh, alright, so I'm in love with him. I mean, as far as I know, most friends don't think about kissing one another. It made me really confused for a long time, just so you know. You thought about that? The moment I saw Kaine, I've been thinking about that. Are you kidding me? A little, yeah. Kaine glanced away, a pinkish blush beginning to spread across his cheeks. And though Noah knew Kaine did terrible things, and he knew Kaine's morals were hopelessly screwed, the sight was still appealing. It was strangely cute in a way. It was a side of Kaine he hadn't never seen before. Why didn't you ever tell me? Well, I guess I didn't want to ruin what we had. It worked. Being your best friend was an honor. I was content with that until I wasn't anymore. But what could I do? You had someone else. I was the mom friend. I was fine as long as you were happy. I know I'm just making things more difficult by telling you now. I'm sorry. I'm really a very selfish man. I had just been clinging onto an illusion for years anyway, imagining that you might one day grow to love me. But you never did, no matter what I did for you. I know you don't return my feelings. I mean, Kaine smiled wistfully. It doesn't matter how hard I try. I'm not August. I'll never be as effortlessly charming as him. That's okay. Noah stared at Kaine, his eyes wide. That soft, self-pitying remark was uncannily familiar. Hadn't somebody else shared these sentiments with Noah? That's right. Crow said the same thing. I guess he wasn't the only one who was comparing himself to August. Kaine, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to be August. I don't want you to be August. You don't? Noah shook his head. My feelings for you are complicated, but you've always been there for me. You've always been my pillar, and I can't lie and say my heart hasn't raced for you lately. For a while, I would have been willing to sacrifice anything if it would have brought him back. I was prepared to give up the world for him. But I was just living in a fantasy world. Even in dreams, you can't bring the dead back to life. August is gone. And you don't need to live in his shadow. There's no point comparing yourself to a ghost. August was August, and I loved him. But you're Kaine. I love you for being you. What? Kaine gasped. What are you saying? Your feelings probably trump mine. I mean, I wouldn't be willing to murder for your sake, I don't think. But you've never spared any effort for my sake. I have a funny way of showing you showing your feelings. Or you have a funny way of showing your feelings, but I know you only did what you did because you cared. I was living in the past for too long. You just wanted to snap me out of it. Your tactics were a bit too aggressive, maybe. Noah smiled wryly, well aware of how much he was downplaying all of Kaine's crimes. But it did work. These last couple of weeks, while I've been investigating these crimes with you... Oh, he's smiling. It felt like I was finally living for my own sake. I've been thinking about my future for the first time in years. You have? Noah nodded. After August died, I gave up on myself. Life seemed to lose all meaning. I couldn't find any joy in anything. Not in my art, nor in spending time with you. Everything was gray and dull. Nothing could inspire me. Nothing could move me. I just really did want to die. But you've reminded me that the world has color, that there's something beyond the pain. I was actually able to enjoy myself while we've been together. You reminded me that life would be worth living after all. I want to keep living. I think August would want that for me too. I know that he wouldn't want me wallowing, so I'm going to try and put the past behind me. And I want to move on. I want to move on. With you. I don't want to lose you again, Kaine. I can't. Noah took one step forward, then another. Oh god, it's happening. It's happening. His throat felt parched after talking for so long. Yeah, Jesus, me too. Hold on, let me take a fucking... Is that a cutie? Yes, it is. Hello. Hello. Welcome on in. How are you doing? We have love confessions and forgiveness and moving on from terrible past happening. My heart is like hurting and full all at the same time. Oh my goodness. Tired but good. I'm glad you're good, even if you are tired. Oh god. He wasn't used to giving long speeches like that. Hell, he wasn't used to saying more than a handful of words, mostly monosyllables, at any one time. Well, I could be better. It's been a shitty week, but streaming is helping. I think every single game I've played thus far this stream has really lifted my spirits. There's a lot of drama and feelings happening in this particular game, but we're ending on a high note. I do believe we gotta be towards the end. It feels like it. My boys are finally going to make out and be in love. I'm hoping for it. I'm hoping for it. His capacity for speech had rapidly diminished after August's death. Without August, Noah hadn't wanted to speak to anybody. He hadn't seen the point. Life without August had ceased to matter. But he had been blind. He hadn't realized that, no matter how miserable he felt, he had never been alone. Kaine had always reached out to him when he felt at his worst. Now, Noah meant to reach out to Kaine in turn. He took Kaine's hands, which were trembling, in his own. His digits squeezed Kaine's hands tightly enough to be possessive. Possessive. Nice. Breathlessly, Kaine inhaled. Noah, is this alright? It's more than alright. Right now, I can't think of anything I want more. I'm about to fucking combust. Than being with you. They're both blushing and shit. I'm fucking dying. Kaine gasped once again, a tremor running down his spine as the world around them shattered. Shards of sentimental scenery fell around Noah's shoulders like confetti. The desks, the chairs, and the whiteboard. It broke apart to reveal what had been lying behind it. Let's go. Let's go. It's finally time for the CG. And then I know the CG that comes after it. Because I was hoping I could use this CG and the one that comes after it for the final two thumbnails. I've used this one twice now. with a little bit of a difference in between the first time I used it and the second time I used it. And I hope the third time I use it will be for the finale, which I'm hoping that this winds up being. And it's gonna be so good. Oh god. Overhead, a starry sky. Around them, tall trees, their leaves murmuring in the cool breeze. The moon was full, and its light played across the rippling riverbank so it glinted. There was a gentle breeze which rumpled Noah's hair, the hem of his jacket. Faintly, Noah heard nightjars calling amongst the trees. What is a nightjar? A type of bird? Never heard that before. Noah's night had been a long one. I'll fucking snooze these ads. We're in an important moment. Fuck off, ads. Noah's night had been a long one, full of dreams which ran into one another. A veritable Ouroboros of disjointed unrealities that had all begun to blend together. Just want to pop in and say hi before I went to bed. Well, hello. Thank you for popping in. And I hope you have some good eepies. Have some sweet dreams. And love you. Bye-bye. Just for you. Night-night. But this was real. There was no doubt about it. Noah had finally woken up. He had pulled himself out of the past and out of his dreams. And he had done so with Kaine. Kaine's hands might have been stained with blood, but that didn't stop Noah from gripping his fingers more tightly than ever before. He couldn't bear to let Kaine go now. Or Kaine go, not now. They had been through far too much together. Noah had never before appreciated just how much Kaine had done for him, but Noah, this might be missing a bit of impact after everything that's happened, but I'd rather tell you this in reality than within a dream, so... Shakily, Kaine inhaled. Then he affixed Noah with a serious gaze. I love you. I've loved you for over a decade. And if it's alright with you, then I want to keep loving you despite everything I've done, despite my mistakes. If you'll let me? Kaine. Noah's expression softened, but his grip on Kaine's hands did not. He clutched at him all the more tightly, as though fearful he too would break away, dissolving into nothingness just like the classroom. Weakly, he smiled. And then he said, in a voice which was so quiet the wind threatened to scatter it, I'd like nothing more. We can work through everything together. Crow told me that people who die in their dreams get stuck in the dream world. Maybe there's something we can do. Maybe we can help the people you hurt. Or maybe we'll never be able to make things right, but I'd still have you as you are. There it is. They kiss. They smooch. They smooch. My heart is going to explode. And then carefully, Noah leant up and kissed Kaine. I told you, Kaine. From the beginning, I told you I'd get you your man. And here we are. It was a strange feeling almost. He hadn't kissed anyone for so many years. It was both softer and harder than he remembered. It was so earnest, desperate. It was real. It was painful too. Sorrow mingled with pangs of long dormant yearning. Noah's fingers clutched at Kaine's, trying to find an anchor in this strange new reality. His heart pounded loudly in his ears, and his chest felt far too tight, as though he was unable to draw breath. But it wasn't uncomfortable. It was anything but. It made him feel alive. It made him feel that, after so long spent dreaming, he was finally waking up. Maybe you and I shouldn't be together. Maybe we're the opposite of soulmates, two people who are fated never to love. But fuck, who cares if it's not what I'm supposed to do? I don't care if we weren't meant to be. I still want to choose you. You, my longest friend. You, the person who held my life together during my darkest days. You're beautiful and kind, and I want to love you, not a fading image of someone who can never come back. And so, Noah simply closed his eyes and was taken by the kiss. Everything else would come later. All the difficult things would still be there when they were done and they reopened their eyes. But for now, they were just two people, two friends from years in the past, letting their feelings be known. Hell yeah, reunion, accept the unacceptable. And for now, there's nothing in the world I want more. We reached the end! Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I got my boys to kiss! I got my boys to kiss! God, it was such an excellent story. I wonder if Kaine stays the murderer in all the storylines, or if it's just for this one, and other people get like lined up to be the murderer in different ones. Oh man, a lot of people fucking worked on this. Holy shit. I saw Cop as a Fish. Midnight the Pharmacist? What? Ambrose Batra? Ito Burrito? Ya boy? Ya boy worked on this. My goodness. Moth That Meows. Nico. Meme Lord work on this. Either that or it's like a credit name. I didn't see what this was. They're probably Kickstarter people. And you. Okay, yeah. These were Kickstarter names. That makes sense. 2 months had passed since Noah and Kaine's attempt at playing detective, a journey which had come to a premature close once Noah had discovered who the true culprit was. Noah tried to say goodbye to Asher, but Asher hadn't wanted to speak to him. No redemption, even at the very end. God damn it, Asher. He had sent his older brother several texts and several voice calls, but Asher hadn't replied to any of them. This had perturbed Noah, who had come to feel a degree of sympathy towards his older brother. But in the end, he decided to leave it. It's obvious he doesn't want to speak to me. He's too busy sulking. Well, I won't force the issue. It would be hypocritical of me if I tried. I acted exactly the same when August died. For years, I ignored everybody. Asher has every right to do the same thing, especially when he's been grieving his relationship with Ruben for just as long. I'll just give him the time he needs. Really, though. We're a lot more alike than I ever realized. Noah and Kaine's journey back home was a stilted one, neither man quite knowing what to say. A lot had happened, and both had been left shaken. Noah was quietly hopeful, however, that his relationship with Kaine would grow stronger from the trials they had both weathered. And grow stronger it did. It was a couple of weeks after their return home that Kaine invited Noah to live with him in his apartment, an invitation that Noah accepted. His lease was about to end anyway, and he didn't particularly want to spend much more time slumming it in his cramped apartment, surrounded by ruined canvases. There were too many bad memories there. He had wasted years of his life in that apartment, shrinking away from anybody who tried to help him. He had lived like a hermit, as if his imposed isolation would alter the outside world. Perhaps part of him had hoped, if he refused to engage with anybody else, August might come back. This, however, had been a delusion. August was gone. But Noah did have Kaine. No, he meant to stay with him. Noah could not help but regard Kaine differently after knowing he was the mastermind behind the mysterious murders, but he thought he understood why Kaine had done all he did. He had been trying in his own way to uphold the promise he had made with August on his deathbed. He had been trying to protect Noah. Kaine had gone about in a manner more aggressive, it was true, than August would have or would ever have advocated. But Kaine had always been an overachiever. That's one way to put being a murderer. But we still love him. Noah packed up the few belongings he possessed, a few clothes with some paint supplies which hadn't dried up, and moved them into Kaine's apartment. He had thought the sudden change in his environment would take a lot of getting used to, but it was easier to adapt than he had thought. Noah had known Kaine for years, after all, ever since they had both been young boys. Noah knew Kaine and all of his habits inside out. He was much closer to Kaine than he had ever been with any of his family. He might even have been closer to Kaine than he had been with August. He hadn't known August for a full year, but he had known Kaine for almost 2 decades. He had not known, of course, about Kaine's murderous tendencies, but that was long behind him. Kaine had put an end to his indiscretions, and since his killings had all occurred within dreams, there was no evidence that he was the culprit. Nothing could be pinned on him, no physical evidence at least. Noah, Yvonne, and Crow were the only people who knew what Kaine had done, and Noah did not intend to rat him out. He was guilty of much the same crime himself. Noah hadn't seen Yvonne ever, or even once, since that dream from months ago. Whatever connection Yvonne had with August, Noah thought he might never know. As for Crow, meanwhile, Noah hadn't, or wasn't even afforded the chance to say goodbye to him. He had stopped jumping between dreams, which meant he no longer had an opportunity to meet the one who only seemed to exist in them. If Crow willed it, Noah was sure he would have plucked Noah from his slumber into his domain. But Crow never did. Perhaps he wanted to keep his distance, knowing all that Noah had been through. Did he feel guilty, Noah wondered, for exposing Kaine to him? Maybe he doesn't want to cause me any further pain. He's considerate, but I should have expected as much, coming from someone who looks that much like August. He was always putting other people before himself, too. I still can't believe that when he was dying, he was more worried about me than himself. I don't know if I really deserve such a degree of consideration. But Crow said he wanted me to be happy in the real world, and I want to respect his wishes. I'm going to do my very best. Noah did wonder about Crow from time to time, and whether he was lonely, or if he even existed in the first place. But he was happier living in the present with Kaine. Though he would never forget about August, or about Crow and Yvonne, it was easier to put them from his mind when he and Kaine were together, going shopping for groceries, eating dinner in Kaine's spotlessly clean apartment, and sharing the same bed at night. Noah could not imagine his life being much better than that. He did not think he deserved to experience a life much better than that, not with August's blood still thick on his hands. But life had one more surprise lined up for him. Asher called Noah a couple of months after their parents' funeral, quite out of the blue. Redemption? Noah hadn't spoken to him since then, and he was surprised to pick up the phone to hear his older brother's voice. Asher sounded oddly subdued. The self-important bite was gone from his voice. Hey, Noah. I know it's been a while, but can we talk? Noah debated this for a few moments, his fingers curled around his phone. Before, after a pause, he agreed. He did, he realized, want to talk to Asher again. There was a lot between them which remained unspoken, and a lot which needed to be addressed. Noah didn't want to wash his hands of his relationship with Asher altogether. If he wants to talk to me, then I should at least hear him out. Maybe he really has had a change of heart. The phone call with Asher, however, was not particularly illuminating. A lot is, well, I know things are a bit strained. Fuck, I hate this shit. Look, could we talk in person? I won't run away this time. I think I'll be able to explain myself better, maybe. Or who knows, it could be even worse. I don't know if I have much faith in myself not to fuck things up. But I'd like to give it a shot. Fine, but you have to come to me this time. Alright. You traveled to see me last time, even if that ended in disaster, so it's only fair. It might be good, too, for me to get out a bit more. I feel like I'm stagnating. The weekend eventually came around, bringing Asher with it. He had sounded uneasy on the phone, but he did not look much more comfortable in person. Oh boy, we're all on screen, man. Oh shit, and I'm hitting my microphone. He sat in Kaine's immaculate living room like a sculpture, so stiff and still he barely even blinked. His eyes darted anxiously about the interior decor, as though even that meant him harm. Then he swallowed. So, it's a nice place you have here? Thanks. Kaine's reply was a gruff one, as he slid a cup of coffee over to Asher. I furnished it myself. Right, you have good taste? I'm aware of that, yes. Now, why did you come here? Kaine's tone was a little harsh, but at the very least it wasn't hostile. Asher felt quiet, his brow furrowed. Noah observed him, wondering whether this would be Asher's cue to start insulting Kaine, but... Right. Asher, contrary to Noah's expectations, did not retort with a well-chosen insult, though it seemed apparent, judging by the way his left eye twitched, that he really wanted to. I guess he's determined to be on his best behavior after all. I thought he came here to antagonize me, but maybe I had the wrong read of the situation. Noah? Asher turned his attention to Noah, his cup of coffee undrunk on the table before him. I'll level with you. I know it was pretty sudden, me calling you like I did, and it was even more sudden that I asked if we could meet up. I didn't think you'd agree to it, honestly. I was sure you'd tell me to go fuck myself, and if you had, I wouldn't have blamed you. I know that I deserve it. So he realizes I have a right to hate him? Can't say I expected that. Maybe he has changed. Just a little. That's funny. Kaine seemed to share Noah's thoughts because he scoffed. I didn't realize you were that self-aware. Yeah, well, I'm not an idiot. I know how the two of you think about me. If you knew, then why did you keep behaving like a dick? Because I wanted to behave like a dick. I was sick and tired, always acting like Mr. Perfect at school, and around our parents, it's just... Asher shook his head. Well, that's neither here nor there. I could sit here and make excuses, but that's not why I came here. Why did you come here, then? What do you want? I was getting to it. It's kind of awkward, actually, but... Our parents' funeral made me think about stuff. Stuff? Yeah, stuff. I know we've never really seen eye to eye, and I know that's my fault, in part. Or maybe in full. No, I'd say in part. I'm willing to, grant you that, because your parents really were shit. The way I treated you really was shitty. I told myself it was normal for siblings to argue, but some of the stunts I pulled with you, I don't think that was normal. I went too far, and, well... Now we're both orphans, effectively. I figured it was about time I grew up a little. Words won't make up for all the shit I said, but... For what it's worth, I am sorry. What? Noah stared at Asher, stunned. I've known him all my life, but I don't think I've ever heard him apologize before. I didn't think he was capable of it. He didn't even apologize to Ruben, not properly, when he and Ruben broke up. What changed? I'm sorry. Noah shook his head, feeling more than a little overwhelmed. I don't know what to say. Are you being serious? Completely. And trust me, it's fucking killing me. I did some soul searching after our parents bit the bullet, and I decided... Ugh. Asher sighed. It's corny, but we're family, right? That means we should stay together and stick by one another. That's why I called you all those months ago, actually. After the news broke, I wanted to try and mend things with you then. I was going through some tough shit, and I thought it'd be nice, I guess, being able to talk things out with you. I wanted to try being honest with you. But you brought Loverboy here with you. Asher cast a glance at Kaine. And being honest with him around, it just... I don't know. I couldn't handle it. I felt on edge already since I was doing all the funeral prep and seeing you with Kaine. Seeing him fawn over you like you were the most goddamn important person in the universe. It stung, I guess. I was just being selfish and stupid because of Ruben. Asher swallowed his words. But I shouldn't blame you for my problems. It's not your fault Ruben stopped talking to me. I brought it on myself. There was nothing... that was another thing I tried to pin on you, because it was easier than facing my own flaws. But that was years ago. I'm older now. Hell, I'm closer to being 30 than I am 20, and... It's pretty embarrassing, isn't it, for a grown-ass man to pin all of his problems on his younger brother? I think it is, at least. I wasn't willing to listen to what Ruben said, but he was right. I didn't treat you right. I'm your older brother, so... Asher inhaled. He squared his shoulders. Then, in a manner which was oddly noble coming from Asher, he said, I think it's high time I acted like it. I'm going to stop lashing out. It didn't do me any good. It only drove people away from me. You And Ruben too. I see. Are you trying to be nice to me then for Ruben's sake? Is this your way of atoning? In part, yes. I guess. It'd be a lie if I said I wasn't wholly selfless. Or if I was being wholly selfless. But nobody's wholly selfless, right? We all do things because we think they'll benefit us in some way. Even saints. Otherwise, what's the point? Nobody wants to suffer. I suppose. Kaine, who had been quiet during the exchange, nodded. I think I can understand where you're coming from. Wow. Asher smiled wryly. Are you actually agreeing with me on something, Kaine? I thought you hated me. I did hate you. I despised you. I wasn't prepared to forgive you after the way you treated Noah. But I'd like to believe that people can change too. I have to, or I couldn't live with myself. That's what Ruben said to me too. He said he didn't like the person I was. But he thought I could become somebody better. I disregarded it at the time, like the idiot I am. But Ruben's pretty smart. I'm getting distracted. I didn't come here to talk about Ruben. Do you miss him? Of course, I miss him every day. But I don't think I was worthy to spend time with him, not the way I was. We love character growth. I'm so proud of you, Asher. You finally took that step. Finally! I was just dragging him down. I don't want to be like that now, though. I'm going to change. I think I have to if I don't want to die alone. It'll be difficult, but you were able to change, Noah. And I've just stayed the same asshole. But you're doing alright now. You're living in this nice apartment and you even have a partner. Maybe there's hope for a fuck-up like me too. I just need to believe in it. As long as you're alive, then you can change. I really do believe that. And if you're willing to give moving forward with each other a try, then so am I. Maybe we can go closer as people because we've both seen rock bottom. And if not, I mean, if we still hate each other after this, that's okay, I guess. At least we tried. Noah looked towards Kaine, towards his future. Towards Kaine, towards his future? Ah. Yeah, at least we tried. You should call him, Asher. I think you'd both be surprised. Maybe I will. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh! August isn't there. August isn't there. He's gone because we've moved on. Oh god. Oh god, this game to the very fucking end. Just another little punch to the emotional gut. Oh, this was such a good game. Such a good game. It's gonna take me a while to get over it. And eventually do another route. Oof. 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 My goodness. My goodness. But that was Dreambound, everybody. Kaine's route. We got our boy Kaine, our future. Oh boy, I can't wait to make the fucking thumbnail. Me kissing Kaine. It's my turn, bitch. Okay. Oh god. Yes. Goodbye. It's been such a fun time. A fun, emotional time. Oh boy. Well, I guess I'll jump over to just chatting now. Oh man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, well, that was a lot. My heart's still like fucking reeling from that. My goodness gracious. Oh god. We had a bunch of really sweet and funny dates in Love and Deep Space. And I think, if not next week, then the week after, we'll do all of Silas's. And then we'll continue on with the story later. What else will I do? I might just play Bewitching Sinners after that. I might just do those two. Or I might go back to Sifting Time. I haven't decided yet. I kind of just want to do Bewitching Sinners though. I really love that game. And I'm ready to romance the shit out of Arsham. It's hard not to romance anybody else in that game. And I'm going to be doing other people's routes in that game for sure. But I'm pretty sure I'm on the route to Arsham right now. It feels right. Plus, he's just so fucking cute. We love a guy who, like, is shitty to everybody else, but really just loves you. Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, let me find somebody for us to raid and then we'll call it a night. Because, oh boy, it has been 7.5 hours. Oh lord. Okay, who's out there? Who is out there? Quite a few people are out there. Socks is starting soon. If Maros is on. Creator's on. Landancho's on. Papa Yokai. We did Plastic Level, right? Oh. Let's do Animita. Yeah. What's she playing? Metaphor Ray Fantasio? I don't know what that is. But we're gonna do that. So first of all, let me open my browser and get to Twitch. So mute it so I don't have to hear it. Okay. Alright. Let me get this one started. Get the raid messages up in chat. Pick your poison. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you for sticking around and love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.